Okay, so recap of last time. Quite the adventure that we had. We were exploring the Erzatsurai complex that we found and discovered hidden under the City of the Dead cemetery on the island of Wadep. And as we were kind of going through this place and killing off random Erzatsurai soldiers and Erzatsurai Warforged soldiers, much like our new friend and accomplice Dent, we eventually found ourselves inside what seemed to be a whole different space. It seemed to be this cavernous, mossy, damp cave inside this complex. Unfortunately, there was a slew of evil Kuatoa in there that were worshipping what seemed to be a world spike floating above them in the center of this place. As soon as you entered this room, you kind of got locked in and essentially had to fight these creatures. And they were pretty tough. They were taking pretty big hits. A couple of them were really large. Some of them were really strong casters. In a very fortunate turn of events, though, a huge Furbolg charged into the room as well. And it was discovered that this was actually another paladin of Sylvanas sent to aid and maybe recover Zunis, possibly bring him back to Sylvanestra, the island where like Sylvanas kind of headquarters, let's say. A lot of his shrines are there, etc., etc. And as you were fighting these Kuatoa, you did eventually defeat them. Before you can get the world spike, though, it kind of vanished up into the ceiling. Into a hatch, and as soon as you killed the Kuatoa, you actually discovered this was just another area of the complex that had an illusion set on it to look as though it was a cavern, presumably to trick the Kuatoa into thinking they were in their home territory. From the other side of a two-way mirror, you heard the voice of a leader of the Erzatsurai speaking to you, and she identified herself as Supervisor Morel or Ormond, and she essentially, to cut a story short, had a proposition for you. She recognized Rowena pretty quickly and asked if you guys could team up, at least have a temporary truce, and go and defeat Jackson, because the Erzatsurai saw that Jackson, Rowena's former paramour, let's say, was in cahoots with a devil or a demon or a fiend of some type, which, if you remember the creation of the world was destroyed by demons, essentially. And so the Erzatsurai's big thing is making sure the world stays stable. So after a long discussion and a lot of back and forth and some pretty serious convincing and negotiating on both sides, you did eventually decide to put down your arms for the time being and not fight each other in hopes that the aid the Erzatsurai could give you could help you in fighting Jackson, which is, Rowena's, raison d'etre right now. As you were talking with the Erzatsurai supervisor here, you learned a few things. You did learn that Jackson and Lena are, in fact, a couple, and they are somehow conspiring to take over Wadep at the very least. She also shared, though, that Jackson is probably too strong for you to take on right now, and she suggests that you go through Lena. After that kind of brief discussion, you all decided to take a rest because you were pretty badly hurt. And after a unwise and also failed attempt to break into the resource vault by Thad, you did, in fact, take a rest. And that's where we will begin the mission today as you awaken inside the dormitory of the Erzatsurai complex. Kind of all at the same time. You've all taken a set of watches. If you need to hit long rest on your character sheet, feel free. But as you wake up, the first thing you remember is that before you were supposed to leave, Supervisor Ormond asked if you could speak with her before you go, so she can give you details on her informant and possibly some places to go and pursue Lena. So, what would you like to do, friends?
Sounds as though we should head to see the supervisor.
Yes, I want to find out about this informant.
Cool. So you walk out of the dorm, and you do see that somehow the Warforged seem to be more Warforged. The corpses and the broken machines that you've killed are gone. They're no longer there. Things have been cleaned up as you've slept. You don't see more cultists that you recognize. It just seems to be the researchers, so they haven't been replenished. But it does seem as though there are more warforged now, more soldiers that have taken over the spot. You can see about 3 or 4 of them kind of sentry duty through the center of this big complex. But you walk up the stairway and go into Supervisor Ormond's kind of room/office. And she is there as you kind of knock on the door, and she says, "Come in." She sees you kind of walk in, and you see that she's sitting behind the desk on the opposite side of this desk. And she sees you open the door, and she says, welcome. Yes, please come in. I think we have quite a lot to talk about.
Hi, yeah, we'd love to talk. What's with all the Warforged?
Well, we need to make sure this place keeps running. And if you destroyed the last ones, so we had to bring a few more back.
Fair. Okay, we want to hear about your informant and, anything you think we'll need.
Yes, of course. So, as we agreed, probably the most important thing right now is that you head in some direction towards Castleton and see if you can, what's the best way to put this? Eliminate the threat of Lena Obwiva. She is rather dangerous, but I do believe if we can take her out, so to speak, she will no longer be able to aid Jackson, which should be a good boon to your endeavors. Our informant has been silent for a while, which is quite troubling. Truth be told, I've actually never met her. I only know her as Callanway. But she is a ranking member of the Temple of Saviors, which is almost due west of here, across Cell Road. It is right before the Celadrine Lake. Her position allows her close contact with Blackstaff Tower, the main castle inside of Castleton. My concerns are I have not heard from her, and it must have been a week now. That's strange. I'm not 100% certain how to get a hold of her in person. The only way I've done this before is to send her a letter addressed to the temple, and she has said if I write the number 34 on the bottom corner of the letter, it will get to her somehow. I don't know what that means, but hopefully it's helpful. As for the other...
Do you have any reason... Oh, you go ahead, Zunis.
Does 34 have any significance to you?
To me?
I know you said it doesn't mean anything putting on the letter.
I couldn't imagine what it
mean
means.
anything?
Nothing that I can understand.
Okay.
I wish I could be of more help in that regard, but I don't. I honestly don't know.
Could you give us some background on your informant? How did she become come to be your informant? Was this something where she was, you knew her well for a while and then went off to give you information, or someone who you reached out to?
She kind of smiles a little bit and gives you like a little bit of a smirk. It's a little bit of a knowing smirk. And she says, you must understand, I didn't recruit this person. The Erzatsurai are widespread and in places you would least expect. She was assigned to me, not the other way around. Which is why I don't know who she really is.
Is she willingly your informant?
As far as I know, you only work for the Erzatsurai under your own decisions. It is not as if we force people here. We would have no need of that anyway. You can see we can make soldiers, so why would we need to compel anyone?
Hey, you might want to recalibrate, because Dent doesn't seem overly enthusiastic, but...
If you leave him here, I'm certain that I can recalibrate him, if you wish.
I heard he's busy at the movie production lab.
Don't worry, I'll find a story element that keeps Dent somewhere.
Perhaps should we, how about we take that broom we have, and should we airmail over a note to Callanway now?
Well, we didn't have the best of luck sending that thing out unattended before, so why don't we just have... Why doesn't the Oh man,
Supervisor.
Supervisor Omand.
Oh,
Supervisor
thanks.
lady.
Supervisor Omand, why don't we try her method of contact right now?
Well, my concern is she has not responded when I've contacted her. She's been silent, as I said, for about a week.
Yeah, well, that's what you say.
You're welcome
Can
to try
I-
it. It takes a day or two for a letter to arrive at the Temple of Saviors and another day or two for it to return. Were you planning on staying here for a couple of days?
Yeah,
No, that's not what I'm feeling called to do.
What I might
that's
suggest,
why I was saying let's airmail it.
what I might suggest is you could go to the Temple of Saviors. Perhaps if you ask around, you might be able to find out what happened. I would be cautious of using the name Callanway. My guess is that is probably a pseudonym and not a real name, and it may not be safe to say that name to the wrong person. So I would just be wise in that decision. Truth be told, you could head directly towards Castleton as well. You don't need my informant, but I believe she might have information that could be valuable, not only to you but to us as well. Any other means?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards going straight to Castleton because who knows if Callanway is dead, and if we get embroiled in a whole thing there. Also, it might take us some time to gain her trust. However, that might be my personal bias and chomping at the bit to get to Lena speaking. So I welcome alternate plans.
I am interested in this informant, but I have to ask, you all in the Erzatsurai must have some way of identifying each other with such a vast network of spies and dedicants. So how is it that you all identify each other?
Roll a persuasion check.
Mm-hmm. 9.
You're a very smart dwarf, but I think some things for the time being we should probably keep to ourselves.
So you want us to go to a town to find someone who you have no idea who they are, where they are, and if they're alive, and you're not going to help us with any other information.
Well, when you put it like that, Thad.
I feel like I've given you enough to find her if you are as smart as you seem to be, but you're asking me to essentially out every member of the Erzatsurai. I don't know if that's quite the level of trust we've built just yet.
All right, well, we'll see where we stand at the end of all of this.
If the answer changes later, perhaps you will find out the information you seek, but for now, I don't believe that would be wise on my part.
Ad kind of adjusts his tunic and makes for the exit.
I do believe if you perhaps bring up how the letters are getting to her, I don't know, we've only sent through normal mail, and while the information has been encrypted in the letter, the actual letter has not been hidden. So somehow it must get to her through mundane means.
Can I ask about the last time you corresponded with her? Was there anything of note that you noticed in what she was saying back? Anything suspicious or something like that?
There were concerns of what Lena was up to. We weren't certain, but she did mention something about a new company from Wadep City that Lena seemed to be partnering with, but wasn't sure why. Some of you may know this, but there is a very old airship company that has been in Wadep for generations. Apparently, a new company has started named Forward Motion Solutions, and apparently Lena was building some kind of partnership. She was working with them, purchasing things from them. Unsure of what, but she was pursuing that lead, according to her last notes. And then while we're there, if I can, Rowena would definitely know this. Where is it in my notes? So in Factory Park, which is like one of the big entrepreneur, like think of it like Silicon Valley a bit, but more like buildy and manufacturing area of Wadep. There's a couple of big companies. One is really popular, and it's called Risen Works. And Risen Works is basically made airships since like Wadep got lifted into the air. It's like a generations old company that makes airships. You haven't heard of Forward Motion Solutions, so it must be a company that's been built up in the last couple of years, because that was when you last left Wadep. So it must be a newer company that also seems to be making warships according to what Ormond has told you.
Question, is ReasonWorks any relation to the Reasenders, Jackson's family?
No, it's you got it right. It's just two words, so it's Risen Works, like raise.
Got it.
You actually know, because you would be in those circles, and it's pretty popular because it's such a big company. The person who owns Risen Works is a dwarf woman named Brathonagrid.
How do you spell that?
Brathongrid. And her last name is Silverthane. And her family, the Silverthanes, have run Risen Works for generations.
Okay, cool.
And if I could actually have everyone roll a history check.
Are you getting an echo for me when Matt's muted like this and I speak?
I'm not.
Okay, good. I got 11.
Soonest with the 19.
Nailed it.
Bad with 20.
Nice.
Bonuses applied.
Nice.
Ivo got a 4.
So everyone but Ivo remembers a couple of things. One, you've seen... Well, I'll give it to Ivo because he'd seen at least this part. So you've seen on a lot of the airships that dock in and out of the main like sky docks. Risen Works, like the logo, is almost on all of them. Almost every airship in Wadep that's meant to carry more than like 10 people is pretty much made by Risen Works. You do remember, though, that Corvold, the halfling from the Halfling's Lucky Find, actually mentioned that there was a bit of a corporate war going on between Risen Works and Forward Motion Solutions. As he didn't name it Forward Motion Solutions, but he did say there was like some upstart company causing some trouble in Factory Park. So...
Okay, let me think. Alright, what are you thinking? Where do you want to go now?
If it's helpful as well, I have the map. Do you guys have the map, BT Dubs, from last time?
You have the link for it?
Yeah, let me send it to you.
Or is it the same? Is it the same link? Or
Should be the same. Should be the same.
And that's in the chat.
In the chat or in the text thread. If you need it again, I can send it.
Scroll up.
Let me send it just in case. If you can, so you have it. Oh, actually, I turned
Is
it
it client encounter .plus?
.plus. That sounds correct.
Remote host. Are you remote host 70, 163, 136, 162?
I'm really glad that's my old IP address, but you probably shouldn't give that out online.
I also did finish it. But if you want, I can finish it.
Didn't work for me.
It's like Blackwell. Did it work or did it not work? No, let me send you a new
The
one.
old link didn't work.
I'll give you another one. I'll refresh. I will refresh.
Yeah, can we? Yeah, perfect.
Okay. And it is going to be... You guys want it to your phones or to the Yarn chat?
Chat.
Chat, definitely.
It is in there now for you. So some things to note is the Temple of the Saviors is probably the closest place. It's only about 20 miles, if that, away from where you currently are in the City of the Dead, on the opposite side of Celadrine Lake. You could again, you don't have to go there. It's up to you how you want to do this. You can bypass and get to Castleton from a couple of different choices. You could kind of loop down, take the main road. That's the high road that goes to Castleton. You can go up through the new road and kind of head that way. Kind of come down from the bottom. Or you could, in either of those cases, stop at the temple first, whichever makes the most sense for you. And honestly, if you wanted to go anywhere else as well, it's up to you what you guys decide at this point to make your decisions and figure out how you want to go.
Is it possible to take a boat across Celadrine Lake?
Oh yeah, there are boats and things nearby for sure.
Can we take an airship?
There are no airships on this side, and typically the airships, it's pretty rare to see the airships actually fly over land. There are some laws about where airships can go in this world. And for the most part, airships are mostly used like today's nautical boats, and they're really meant to get you from island to island. There are some specific places where they can be. You guys would all know this because you're part of this world, but basically, in the early years, the airships were basically like a very strong military presence. And when a lot of the islands unified, one of the laws that was passed was to not have airships over most of the land space for fear of military destruction.
I guess we might as well swing by Temple of the Saviors. What do you guys think?
Seems like a relatively straight shot there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
I've been meaning to see it.
What religion is the savior in question? The eponymous saviors?
Say that again.
What religion are the eponymous saviors?
That is the main pantheon of the world. So there are a handful of savior gods. These are the gods that followed Lathander, the main dude, in raising the islands. And that doesn't rule out that other gods exist. It's just those other gods are kind of known as the silent gods because they didn't partake in saving the world. And then there's all the evil gods as well. I can get you a list so you have it and stuff. I'm actually working on something a little bit more, comprehensive, so you guys have a little bit more backstory. But the savior gods are, Sylvanas is an example of one of the savior gods. Helm is a Lathander of one of the savior gods.
So I was thinking Zunis might be a 2-for-1 trip. You might get some spiritual guidance while we swing by the Temple of the Saviors.
You do actually kind of hear Firo snort a little bit as you mention that.
Present company included in Zunis' spiritual journey.
Firo pops up and says, well, you can talk to Sylvanas wherever you are. But if you really want to commune with him, I can tell you where to go.
Firo, you kept quiet this whole time.
I try to mind my own business. I don't want to get in anybody's way. I'm just here to help.
Well, now you've just disrupted the game. Tell us more.
Okay, friends. Well, where have you decided to go?
Firo, where'd you go?
He's just smiling in the corner. Shining off his breastplate. You see him spit in his hand, his giant hand, and just.
So, I guess we're going to the Temple of the Saviors, right? Whatever Firo. Yeah. No matter what Firo said.
Did you want to ask Firo something?
Yeah, what was that cryptic thing about Sylvanas thing?
Well, Sylvanas, he has a whole island dedicated to him. And the Knights of the Oaken Shield would probably be the best people to instruct you on the ways of Sylvanas. It means a trip, but I could tell you where to go.
And the rest of it wasn't that cryptic, Zunis. Sylvanas is a god. You can talk to him wherever, dude.
I'm not very religious. I'm more of a spiritual type.
Just what we like.
Actually, my character is very religious.
I have a question for the supervisor lady. Sorry, I keep forgetting your name.
You can just call me Supervisor.
It's early.
You don't have to worry about the name. No worries.
Thank you. It's early still. I haven't had my coffee. besides yourself and maybe anyone who was listening in the room last night or yesterday, who else is going to know about our little deal that we have to work together with the same objective?
I have ways of telling the rest of the Erzatsurai that you are not to be harmed for the time being.
What do you mean for the time being?
Well, this is a temporary truce. We both agreed that it would not last forever. Again, unless you change your minds later. But for now, this bargain that we've made is not meant to last, I think.
I know a lot about being a temp. Weird.
We've all had to have a job that we didn't appreciate, Zunis. Hang in there.
Yeah, Dennis is on overtime right now, so he's a little close. All right, fair enough. I think that's all of my questions for the supervisor.
Yeah. Shall we set off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be on our
We've been
way.
talking a while. Let's move.
Could we tap into your rations a little bit and have a nice hearty breakfast before our quest?
Of course, please. The mess hall is straight down and to the left when you exit my office. Please.
Okay. Thank you.
So you guys go
I
out.
say something to eat before we head out.
So you guys kind of go out, and you remember where the mess hall was because you murdered everyone inside of it, and you walk in, and there are food stores. There is no one cooking, strangely. Maybe not so strangely. But there are food stores and things that you could prepare for yourself. You see hanging meats, cured meats up there. There are kegs supposedly full of wine or ale, maybe water. You're not sure which one is which. They're not marked. You do see that there are other bits of produce and things in crates and things around as well. And several tables with benches that you could sit at to get some food. So help yourselves to whatever you like. And if you want to talk to each other or ask each other anything, you may do so.
Let's get the bag of holding and put some non-perishables in the bag.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
That's the mom of the group.
Good thinking.
You never know what you're going to need. So I'll say that you can get... I'll probably just call it rations to make it easier, but you get some rations of like cured meats, a lot of jerky. There is some stuff in there. You also get some produce that can hold for a while, some nuts. So you've got a pretty good amount of food. I would say you've got enough food for all of you for the next like 10 days.
Perfect. It's like quarantine.
Just jerky nonstop.
It's weird. On the bag of the quarantine, it says Hello Fresh. It's really weird.
Let's also take some of these beverage skins.
Let's do it. There's no cost.
Here.
Most had water. There were a few that had like an ale in it. And you smell it. It actually does smell pretty high quality. It doesn't smell like normal tavern grog. Like it smells pretty good. Like it's good stuff. Thad takes a swig. Loves it. It's like great. Whatever this Erzatsurai brew is, it's high quality stuff.
Is that gosher?
I feel like Dent's like, do not endorse Erzatsurai goods.
Actually, I would like you to roll an insight check to get a feel on Dent right now. Bernie and I had a conversation last week that I think I can extrapolate on.
13.
You can't tell 100% what he's thinking, but he is concerned and troubled. And he has also been, while he's normally quiet, he's been strangely avoiding this conversation. It seems to be like it's on purpose.
Listen, Dent, let's have a heart-to-heart. I think you have gleaned enough from my conversation about Jackson that I know what it's like when you hate somebody the rest of the world loves. So I'm not saying that we love the Erzatsurai or that you have to love the Erzatsurai. I'm just saying, for now, this is good enough.
I agree with you. I just don't think it's a wise decision to join forces with these people who are clearly liars. And I know them better than anyone, although I don't remember everything. I know that they will use you until you're no longer necessary. So,
Well then, we'll just have to keep ourselves necessary, won't we?
well, that's an option. I think it might be smart if maybe I stayed here for the time being to keep an eye on things.
Staying here in the eye of the storm?
What better place for me to be?
What do you think might happen that you could prevent by being here?
Well, it gives me an opportunity to keep an eye on, and like in a very strange attempt to feign her accent, he says, Supervisor Ormond, which is very odd for a metal creature to attempt humor. But if it keeps me close, I can maybe see a little bit more. And she clearly knew more about me, and I want to dig into that a little bit.
Fair enough, then. What do you think of their informant and this whole situation? Any thoughts?
I think any way you look at it, you're going to be in a situation you'd rather not be in. So it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other, as you squishy people say. But
he's made of metal.
But
It's a little dropped.
if we can find more about the Erzatsurai, it might help us, and finding one of their informants might put us in a position to learn more about them. So maybe it makes the more sense that way. And I'm not a fan of going into a very well fortified place without at least a little bit more information. So if you want my real opinion, I would say let's blow this fucking place up before we go and just go do something else with our lives. But if you need to pursue this for whatever dumb reason, then I think the right way to do it is through the temple. Because then at the very least we'll learn a little more.
This is it for me, Dan. This is all I've been working toward.
I guess, I think the concept of trying to get revenge at a, former lover just seems childish, but that's fine.
Former lover? He murdered my family. Well, some of them.
That's unfortunate.
Pretty unfeeling for a robot.
Well, he is This isn't some one-night one-up stand, okay? We were engaged. He killed my father.
I said I would help. I don't know what else you need, so.
I'm getting a lot of disrespect. Okay.
Nate, that was a great impression of Bernie doing that.
Yeah.
Did I get it on? I was trying very hard. We'll have to send him the recording.
Yeah.
See if he approves. I needed to get like a listen in there, but I didn't get it, so it's fine. We'll do it.
Yeah. You get it.
Speaking of my new tick, I would like to purchase some in-world cigarettes.
Yeah, there's not quite like cigarettes, but you could get tobacco and like make your own.
Okay, I would like to do that.
Let's see, I don't know if you can get one in here. There would be no smoking in the Erzatsurai complex.
I
Funnily
can't
enough, they're rather progressive, so. But maybe
I want to be clear. I do not endorse smoking in real life.
but yes, we could probably get you some when we get to the next town.
Okay, cool. All right, team. I'm good to go whenever you are.
Let's head out.
Okay.
Let's roll out.
So you guys do leave. You notice that as you leave, there are 2 more Warforged soldiers at the sentry room, which means somehow in the course of just a few hours, they've been able to replace, or restore almost all of the Warforged that you killed in this complex, which is a little alarming, and you're unsure of how, but they were able to. So you go out to the city of the dead, and you continue on out there. You do notice the Kenku seem to not pay as much attention to you for some reason. They, at first when you entered into this space, they were very much on top of you, checking things, making sure you weren't doing anything you weren't supposed to be doing. Now that you walk out of this place, this seemingly forbidden place, they're not even like looking in your direction. They're just kind of letting you pass by. And you kind of continue on, and you find the main road, which is called the Cell Street. It's a relatively large cobbled road, and you make the journey towards the Temple of the Saviors. If we're walking straight there, it's going to take us about, from where you are, it's about 15 to 20 miles. So it's going to take you about a day to walk. Do you guys want to do anything specific before you get there? Do you want to go straight there? Do you want to just take the road the whole way there? Do you want to try to cut across? Do you have any strategies or anything before you get to that location? Because you've got about a day to do really whatever you want.
I think we should try and be as inconspicuous as possible. Whether that means going off the road, or I don't suppose we have invisibility anymore because we ditched Bethany. But
yeah. I mean, there's smaller roads too. Like pretty much as soon as you get outside of the City of the Dead, you're pretty much in like a residential neighborhood again. Like again, Wadep's pretty metropolitan, and there's just homes clustered on top of homes and buildings. There's buildings almost everywhere. So there's definitely like back alleyways you could take. It might mean it extends the journey a little bit because the risk is you could get a little lost. But you could go that way. If you take the main road to it, it would. There's other people that are walking on the main road too, so there's ways to blend in with people. If you put your hoods up and tried not to make too much eye contact.
Seems like the walking. Do bikes exist in this universe?
Not
any other mode of transportation?
There are other modes of transportation, mostly like horses, animals. There are other creatures that can pull wagons. Airships do exist at this point, but they're pretty large. They wouldn't like hover. And then magical means as well.
Guess let's just walk along. Inconspicuous.
So I would like a marching order to know what order you're going.
Actually, real quick, DM.
Mm-hmm.
DM, could I, before we head out, could I guess it would be probably like a perception or investigation check just to see if I notice anything suspicious or anything of like anyone following us or anything like that after we leave the temple and kind of leave the area to head out.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
Um, 19.
19. Let's see how this works out for you. Hold on one second. I'm not lying. I rolled a natural 20. You don't notice anything.
God damn it.
I just want to point out that when Clayton rolled a 4, you told him everything.
Depends on what it is. If it's like,
it's just the game.
If he rolled a 4, sure, but like he's seen airships, he's been on several. He knows what the logo for RisenWorks looks like. It's like not knowing what Nike looks like. You don't have to be smart to know that. He's actively trying to find something here. He's actually he doesn't know what he's looking for, which makes it harder as well. So.
Okay, so I don't know it's anything. Dent stayed, right?
Dent stayed in the building.
No longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then our other fellow traveler,
Firo is with you.
With a V, with us still. Okay,
yeah.
Got it. I'll go ahead and take the lead in the marching orders.
Okay. Can you roll a survival check for me?
Yeah.
And then I'd like... you said you guys are trying to be inconspicuous, so can I have everyone roll stealth checks as well?
I rolled a 15 for survival.
Okay.
I rolled an 8 for stealth.
Nice.
16.
Okay. And then Clayton and Anna, you're running a little slow. I don't know if it's just me.
I went to there. Do you want me to do a stealth also, or just a survival?
I want you to do a stealth as well. Yeah, I think you guys are. I don't know if it's me or if you guys are lagging out. Let me see if I can restart that. Hold on one second. Activity monitor.
I rolled an 11 for stealth.
Okay. And then Rowena, what'd you get for stealth? Okay. So for the most part, you're relatively inconspicuous here. You managed to get through town managed to get through the street without too much trouble. It's also a pretty straight shot, so you do make it kind of to the perimeter of where you see the temple in the background. And it's a very... it stands out like a sore thumb. Like most of the buildings here are, single family, smaller homes. They're not very large. There are a few bigger buildings that maybe could be inns or general stores and what have you, kind of lining the streets, that kind of stuff. But the Temple of the Saviors is a very tall, rectangular, almost tower-esque building. It's got 3 or 4 stories to it. And it is of this very highly polished white stone. And it's so polished that it almost looks like it's one solid piece of rock instead of little stones that make it up. And it's pretty clear as you get to it. That being said, it's later in the day. It's probably 4 p.m., 5 p.m. now. I'm going to pause there for a second and just see if I can get my Discord to run a little bit better. So I'm going to drop it and come back. Hold on one second for me. Yep. Let's try that. See if that works a little bit better. We shall see, friends. Okay. Go back. See my pop out. There we go. Okay, I think that might work a smidgen better. All right. So as I said, the tower's kind of off in the distance. It's getting a little bit later in the evening. It's probably about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. now. Sun is starting to set. You can kind of see it actually from this area as well. The shimmer of Celadrine Lake. As you start to get closer, as is very common in Wadep, it starts to rain. First, it's a little bit of a light drizzle, and then it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And that's actually, as I said, very common to Wadep. Wadep sees quite a bit of rain for where it is. A lot of the islands actually are pretty precipitous. Wadep is even maybe more than the others. And if it wasn't for a lot of the industry and housing that's been put up in city streets and stuff, you get the sense it'd be a pretty fertile area. In fact, there's so much rain that the reason why Celadrine Lake exists is it's essentially a precipitation lake. There are no rivers or anything that feed into it. It is just a big hole in the ground, but because there's so much rain on Wadep, it stays pretty full. There are 3 other lakes like that as well, or 2 other lakes like that as well, but Celadrine is one of the biggest ones. So what would you guys like to do as you approach? Anna, I'm not hearing you if you're... No, it's still not giving you audio for some reason.
She can't hear her.
If you want to talk now, you can just use it.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Did anybody get my Mormon joke earlier?
No.
No.
Do you still feel good about sharing it? Share it now.
I heard you say it.
I was just saying that it sounds like a Mormon temple, says the girl.
It is the Temple of the Saviors. Not gonna say where the inspiration came from.
Says the just as ostentatious Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you want to do, team?
DM, what time of day is it? You said
it's pretty late. It's 5 p.m., 6 p.m. The sun is starting to set.
And it's pouring.
Gotcha.
Well, if we're trying to be discreet, that could actually be quite helpful for us.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, do we know anything about how the Temple of Saviors functions? Is it open all the time? Is it populated all the time?
Yeah, Rowena would definitely know that pretty well because it's a pretty popular place. It functions as a lot of different things. It is meant to be a unifying area. That's why it's the temple of all of the Savior gods. While most of the temples would be dedicated to one, this is really meant to be a very universal type of place. It has a lot of different purposes. One of its bigger purposes is like taking care of the sick, healing, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of natural resources in and around Celadrine Lake, so a lot of that stuff kind of happens. There's also like a surrounding a village that they help support that does a lot of like fishing and overall food agrarian stuff in one of the few places of it. So there's some spots of that as well. Not that there's like huge farmland out here. It's mostly fishing, processing, that kind of stuff. But probably one of their biggest functions is like a hospital of sorts. And it is, most temples would be in the world, but this one for sure has enough staff to stay running all the time. It's not like a small temple. It's a pretty big spot.
Gotcha. Is there? I'm assuming there's like a main entrance. Do we see any? Do we see any other side entrances or anything else? Like, I'm assuming, can we walk around it a little bit and just scope it out?
Great question. So if you're getting closer, you actually do notice something a little bit strange. And again, you expected it to be a place where you'd see sick people. You didn't expect there to be this many sick people outside. So as you get closer, what you actually do see from afar is that there are just cots and tons of beds laid out. People can't even fit on beds that are on the floor. A lot of them seem to be covered. And there are presumably temple workers flitting back and forth between all of these cots. As you get closer, it's almost a little revolting. You see most of the people on these cots in varying states of consciousness. The ones who are conscious are moaning quietly under their breath, seemingly in pain. What you do notice most, though, is that all of them, really at this point, have bandages over their eyes. You can't really see their eyes, but what you can see if you look close enough, as you get close to some, and it kind of makes you want to get a little bit further back, is it seems to have this discharge from their eyes that's leaking outside of the bandage. This is
outside of the temple.
This is outside of the temple. There is a lot, and you can see there have been canvases and tents set up, so they're not getting rained on. But it's a lot, and not all of them are under tents and stuff. It's a big sprawl, almost completely surrounding it. Walkways have been cleared to get you into the temple. The main door faces east, so the roadway leads right to the main door. You assume there's probably other doors and other ways to get out. There are also windows in the building, as is typical. A lot of different entry points to get into different levels. But the thing that arrests you first is seeing this many sick people outside of the temple apparently being taken care of. You also do notice that there seems to be one person in particular wearing all white robes, even white shoes, and a bit of a white skull cap. That is kind of the center of a lot of the other workers' kind of orbit. People routinely check in with him, go back to another person, someone else comes through. He kind of walks around, people still follow him, so he seems to be the person in charge at this moment of this area.
I imagine. Go ahead, Ivo. I was gonna say, I imagine that this scene would remind Thad of many of his previous battle medic experiences. What color is the discharge from their eyes?
It's like a yellowish pus.
And is that anything that would remind Thad of looking through his Rolodex of ailments?
Roll a medicine check at advantage. You might be able to at least discern some of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar question for Ivo. Has he ever seen, because he was a mercenary, has he seen any sort of battlefield like this where a weapon or some sort of accident occurred?
Not as a mercenary. Thad's background is a little bit more specific to healing, so he might.
I rolled a 24 and a 23.
Perfect. You don't know what this is, but you have seen you've seen similar types of things where like so many people are having the same issue. This is some type of disease outbreak. You don't know or have heard of what has caused this, but you are certain this is some type of disease outbreak, and the Temple of the Savior staff is trying to either contain it or care for these people.
I think we should maybe keep our distance, as this appears to potentially be contagious.
To be contagious?
I mean, if everyone has the same thing.
You think it's airborne, or is it? What if we're 6 feet away from each other?
Thad, roll a. Well, you got a pretty high score on the medicine check, so I'll give it to you. You probably already see that. You don't notice that there is any type of like precautions that the temple workers are taking. So while this might be contagious, you're pretty astute enough to tell this is probably not airborne. You're not 100% sure of what is causing it or causing the spread, but it doesn't seem to be something that it doesn't seem to be something that's passed from person to person based on what you've observed with that high of a medicine check. Doesn't mean it's not gross, so you still might want to stay away. But
well, I feel like this is just cause to talk to at least the head temple worker. I think obviously Rowena should stay back, but I'm good to go and ask unless Thad or Zunis, you think you can, or maybe also if you have more of a religious background, it might be better. But I'm up to go and ask and to make up a story to kind of persuade them to tell me what's going on.
Definitely agree with that. I don't want to go into a place of worship without A, some sort of permission, and B, potentially upset these people.
Yeah, I can accompany you, Ivo. I'm not sneaky, but if we're going in with the intention of, just kind of getting the lay of the land, happy to support.
And DM, I'm not sure if you heard me earlier, but I would like to put on my boots of elven kind if I haven't already, so that I can be sneaky.
Yeah. And
while the guys go off to get the lay of the land, it doesn't have to be right now, but I would like to call Torm on my sending stone.
Sure. So your boots of elven kind are pretty much always on, so don't feel like you have to don them and doff them unless you have some other reason for it. If you just want to be sneaky, just imagine that they're always kind of on you. As for calling Torm, why don't we do that first? What would you like to say to our buddy Torm?
How many words do I get again?
25.
Torm, you won't believe it. I'm on a quest to kill Jackson. What are you up to?
That's probably dangerous. Be careful. Still over here in Baldara, on this big heist the boss is planning. Apparently the first one didn't go so well. So, take care.
Stay safe.
What was that, Anna?
I said, wow, stay safe.
Well, you don't get to respond back. That's not all you get.
It's like you only get so many characters back.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like the very first aim. It was just one and back, and that's it. That's all you could do. Anything else you want to do?
Carry on.
Okay.
No.
So you kind of stay back, just kind of avoiding being seen really by anyone. Your kind of cloak is pulled up, and it's not too inconspicuous because it's raining. Most people are trying to avoid the weather. The rest of the party goes and approaches this person all in white, who seems to be like the head nurse or the head person in charge here. What would you like to say or do as you approach this person?
Take it away, Ivo.
Hello there. Good evening. Just some journeyers here passing through, and we'll just seeing this horrific sight, wondering what happened. Should we be concerned? Is there parts of the town that maybe we should avoid? And was there just kind of, there seems to be a lot of very injured people with a specific injury. Is everything okay?
So at first he kind of looks at you with a little bit of like disdain, because like, what are you doing if you're not sick here? But as he hears your questions, and you do make a pretty good point. He does say, I wish I could tell you more, but I'm not sure what exactly is causing this. We've done a few bits, but this all just popped up within the last week or so. Quite horrible, as you can see. It's pretty devastating. Seems as though people have ingested something or breathed something that's caused this. It is pretty troubling how much the people from around here. The concern is that it's from the water source, perhaps. It's the only thing that we've been able to find. For the time being, we've asked people to avoid any of the wells that are connected directly to Celadrine Lake in this area, and try to source in water.
Before you had that as a...
Say that again, Zunis?
Were you drinking any of the water before you had that as a lead potential source for this outbreak?
Many of us were.
But
Not
you didn't
all of
experience
us.
any symptoms?
No, not all of us have. Some of our temple workers have, though, as well, but not everyone. I'm sorry. Who are you again? What are you doing here?
We're just a group of travelers, and we've always wanted to see the Temple of the Saviors.
Well, it's probably not the best time for tourism, but I can answer questions, I guess. A little bit of levity might not be unwelcome given the scenario if you can be fast.
That'd be much appreciated.
What was that?
That would be much appreciated.
Okay. What are your questions then?
Oh, I thought you meant by the little bit of levity we would go in and tour the temple.
Oh, I don't think you should go in there unless you have a reason to. There's more people inside.
So it's the same kind of situation in
Yes.
the inside the temple.
Yeah, it's the sad fact why we've had to have people outside the building. We don't have any more capacity in our hospital inside. We've used the hospital grounds. We've used almost all of the first floor, and what you see in front of you in total, it's probably about 150, 200 souls. And that doesn't include how many we've lost.
I imagine your staff must be nearly overwhelmed. How many priests and staff do you have in the temple?
In the temple at any one time, we'll probably have about anywhere between 80 and 120, depending. Some of them journey outward, some of them are around. Sadly, of that, about 40 have fallen under whatever illness this is. We've tried all of the healing that we know. We've tried our divine intervention. We've even tried some arcane tests. Nothing has seemed to react favorably.
Wow. Ed kind of mumbles to himself and says, that's... in my old company, when I was battle medic myself, casualties over 34 were always where we drew the line. Knew it was maybe potentially time to retreat.
Well, there's no retreating. This is where we live. Can't run away from our homes.
You're right there, friend.
And I'm assuming you're some kind of leader for the medical community?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The head
I didn't
doctor.
even think to introduce myself. My name is Jethro. I'm the, I guess you could say, lead nurse. I'm not in charge of the temple. I just maintain most of our hospital grounds.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
thank you for letting us know, and also appreciate that you gave us the warning about the well water. We'll make sure to avoid it while we're here.
Was there anything else needed while you were here? It seems very strange to pursue the temple right now. I mean,
well, we didn't know. We just got into town, and we didn't know that this was going on. Zunis here, he has a bucket list. This fellow here, he has a bucket list of sorts, and one of them was to be inside the temple of the saviors. And he's kind of got a you know how some people collect things. He likes to go to every temple in the region. So I think we're gonna just step in. I know you said it's dangerous, but I think we're gonna step into it and just so he can say he's put his foot in there, and then we'll definitely stay out of the way and not get in the way of any nurses or any temple
I
workers.
just want to cross it off my list.
It's like baseball stadium.
I can understand that. A pilgrimage is very important for people like us. I can understand that. And you see he kind of gives you a nod. As he nods, you kind of get to look inside the hood that you've pulled over your head to hide yourself from the rain. And he kind of sees the color of your skin. And he says, "Are you sure you're feeling okay? You seem a little strangely colored."
Oh. No, I'm fine.
Okay. Well,
I appreciate your concern.
the temple is open, but I'd
Being a
ask that you don't cause trouble.
I will be more than
Of
respectful.
course. Of course. Thank you for your time, and good luck with all the sick. Appreciate it.
And again, please don't stay long. If you start to develop symptoms, it will not end pleasantly, as you can tell.
For sure. Thank you. Okay, cool. So I guess I'll kind of look over to Thad and Zunis and be kind of like, we're head onward into the temple.
Yeah, let's do it. Maybe motion to Rowena to join us discreetly.
Yeah, just kind of look back a little and have her come up.
Let's just make this quick.
Yeah, I tiptoe over to them.
So you do go inside the temple, and it's the ground floor is almost the exact same shape on the inside as it is the outside. There's not like very many rooms. It's almost all open with just some pillars holding up the next ceiling above it. And normally it would probably be a very beautiful sight. The pillars are carved to look like the different gods. There are 3 on each side, and then Lathander's image is carved onto the kind of farthest wall away from the entrance. And he's kind of like this big image of Lathander, and you can see as he kind of has his hands outstretched on the opposite walls are carved huge islands. Almost like this big motif of Lathander actually raising the islands. And the pillars are carved in the shapes of other gods. You see ones that you recognize like Helm. You see Selvanus. You see some of the other ones that you notice. And they all have their hands outstretched almost as if they're holding up the roof. And as you kind of follow where their hands are, you notice even the roof has been carved to look like an island. And there's a bit of a map kind of like chiseled into the ceiling as well, overlaying this motif of the islands being raised. In the center is a fountain, like a small like pool, and there's little walkways that kind of go in a cross pattern across the floor here. That being said, almost every area of square footage is filled with some type of useful thing right now. There are cots end to end. There are a few wooden partitions separating a few. You can see some places have been made more private than others with like bigger, more sturdy wooden partitions. Like even like a makeshift tent in some areas have been put in here since it's so tall and wide. There's a lot of space. But you do see more sick, a few other nurses walking through, and people checking on the sick as well. On the back where you saw the carving of Lathander on the wall is the only other kind of doorway that you can really see. And it seems to be a doorway that inside you can see kind of has a couple steps and then 2 other stairs branch off left and right going upwards.
Is anyone going up and down those stairs?
You don't see a lot, only a few people every now and then at certain intervals, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes apart, and only one at a time. There's not a lot of traffic. It seems as though this area has been reserved for a lot of that stuff. You do remember that Jethro mentioned there are hospital grounds, so there might be another area separated off upstairs or outside. You're not sure where yet that are meant as a hospital. But you don't see a lot of traffic coming up and down. It seems as though the upstairs area might be a rectory or housing or more temple grounds, hard to say, or like temple floors, hard to say.
Anyone baffled by the presence of 4 ostensible tourists of sorts? Are people posing?
Make a perception check. Wouldn't be too hard to spot what you're looking for.
$16.
16. So you don't really notice a lot of people looking at you. Every now and then you catch a glance and people kind of like stare a little bit longer than like normal, almost questioning what you're doing. But as you look around, you see that there are other people that are not sick here that seem to be just regular citizens holding the hands of loved ones or being with people. So like visitors are allowed, especially given how severe this disease is. As you are looking around with that as well, though, you do notice there are a few of the people on the cots that are not moving at all. And every now and then you do see a couple other nurses kind of pick up the body now and take it to another location. So there's more things going on than they're worried about just more visitors as they can tell.
I guess so. So speaking to the group, does anyone have any plans of how to find this informant? The other thing I thought of was the head temple worker we just talked to mentioned that some of the workers here had succumbed to the disease or the unknown. So wondering if maybe our informant was part of that. So might be prudent to see if we can get a list of those who might have worked at the temple. That's one thought, unless does anyone else have a thought of how maybe to go about that. I liked your little 34 hint back there. Wasn't her man, but it was a good try.
Oh, did you what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that portion.
I just said to Jethro that in my experience, he said there were 40 of their staff who had fallen ill, and I said any over 34 is.
You just dropped the number. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, Jethro didn't.
I thought that was genius.
That was clever. I honestly didn't even recognize that. Jethro didn't notice or do anything in response to that.
My response to what Clayton was just saying is, doesn't our informant have a pseudonym, as you mentioned? So looking at the death list may prove fruitless.
Right, and the supervisor said not to go around dropping pseudonyms.
But I do think it could be useful to at least have a short list of people who are a part of the temple who maybe would have gone quiet in the past couple of weeks or a week or whatever. So, I don't know. I think it could be worth investigating.
Sure, it does make us look a hell of a lot more suspicious.
Yeah, we could maybe start.
Say maybe we have a family member.
Yeah.
That we hadn't heard from.
Also, remember the Erzatsurai love math puzzles. So I'm thinking there could be something within the 34, which isn't a million miles off of high, and also in terms of the ordinals, or there could be some message hidden in Calloway's pseudonym.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, DM, did you say that at some point there was something along the lines of like a directory or something like that we noticed, or like on a different level that there was a directory? Or something?
Not a directory, but a rectory, like a dorm for priests, like where they would live.
Being said, in a brief look around as we walk, is there a ledger of any sort or any like big tomes?
There would probably be a ledger. So yeah, I'd say yes, there's probably one like near one of the nurses' stations if you wanted to look through. All right, it's I mean there'd be people around it, so you'd have to try to be a little sneaky if you're trying to do it without looking or how do you want to try to get through it. But I'll say, yeah, there's probably a ledger with the list of patients.
It's good to know. I'll draw Rowena's attention to the ledger and just say, if that's a route that we want to take, I certainly shouldn't be the one to get my ironclad fingers.
Clank, 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 clank. Grr, grr.
Yeah, I would get a
I don't know. I feel like, Ivo, you gave us like 2 or 3 options, right? We discussed one. Oh, he's muted.
So as I'm thinking this through, yeah, I think it's worth checking out to see if there is a way we can figure out, if we can coordinate like a 34 with this informant, maybe or find their name, or if someone has passed. I'm also thinking if their 34 is like a room number, and that's why I was thinking about their directory.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a couple different options to go about this. What was that said?
Yeah. I was just going to say, if the letters are arriving via standard post, and they're getting to the informant, 34 as a room number makes a lot of sense to me.
So with that said, and maybe we should, instead of trying to draw attention to ourselves by going to the ledger or even asking other people, maybe we should just continue to kind of poke around to see if we can find like a room number 34 or something like a directory or something like that. I think that might be the best way to go.
You've got a good thought there, I think. Hospital rooms are often numbered.
Should we split up?
We don't really know this place.
True.
But we're not in a big hurry.
It depends. If we're trying to be sneaky, I would say, Rowena, perhaps you and I should part ways, and we go in twos. But I'm also always in favor of sticking together.
Let's stick together on this one. I think we being just a group looking around, being out of town, we're here supporting Zunis on his bucket list. It's his lifelong dream to be in a temple. So maybe if we could start to kind of investigate and walk around and see if we notice any parts of it we could go off to that has room numbers, or you mentioned DM like the priest quarters, if that's something we could go into to see if they're numbered and find the room 34.
This feels very Shining-esque.
Do we notice any numbered rooms right off the bat?
No, there are no rooms downstairs. But you do assume, that if there are quarters here, with how many people Jethro said live and work in here, that there are probably rooms further up.
Let's go upstairs then.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you go up the stairs. You kind of start making your way through the archway of Lathander. And as you go, you actually hear like a female voice from behind you say, "Excuse me, where are you going exactly? That area's off limits unless you need to be up there. Can I ask what you need?"
This is just
Hi. Sorry, we were just kind of exploring the temple. It's a beautiful temple. I mean, I'm so sad that so many sick people here, and it's great that you're helping them. But we were just kind of looking around and wanted to kind of see what else was in the temple here, upstairs especially.
Well, there's nothing up there but some of the priest quarters and a couple of the bigger shrines. But now's not really a good time for that. Can you roll a deception check for me, Ivo?
4.
Yeah. So what are you really here for? Because that's pretty clear. You shouldn't be up here. So
We have a friend who we're trying to see.
do you know your friend's name?
I'm a priest of Helm, and I have various friends from my days back in Back in the service. I don't like to talk about it much.
Roll
We're
a.
just trying to put 3 and 4 together.
I mean, I don't know if that's a joke from a different place, but I don't know if I get that. What's your friend's name? Maybe I can help you find them.
No, I don't need any help. That's okay.
Well, it seemed really important to you a second ago.
Not the help. I just want to find my friend. So if you can let us be, please. I'd like to I'd like to cast command.
Okay.
You're going into battle all of a sudden.
What's the DC on command?
It's 14. I actually haven't decided what I want to do with that yet.
She has failed, just so you know.
Okay.
So whatever you do will work.
Oh, it is a very I'm going to cast. I'm gonna tell her to halt. Target doesn't move and takes no actions, and I'm gonna start walking away from her. Up the stairs.
I said you shouldn't go there, and she's just like talking to your back, but she's not moving forward. Is anyone listening to me? And you just kind of hear her voice kind of quietly get back, quieter and quieter as you like keep walking up the stairs. You think you've got a little bit of pulled away. It didn't seem like anybody else joined in, given how many people were busy. You're not sure how much time that bought you, but you did manage to get up to the stairway, all of you collectively. And
I'm gonna tell you, that's a long time. Let's work fast.
Good move, Dad. Good move.
It's like what, a minute, right? A minute?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it's short. It's the duration. The duration is 1 round, so it's like 6
seconds. Okay, so you guys turn the corner, and do you just start running? Or are you like making a run for it? What are you gonna do?
I think we maybe have to make a run for it.
I think we gotta go for broke at this point.
Okay, Thad, can I have you just roll a d20, just a straight d20?
Yeah.
Tell me if you get odd or even.
I got a natural 20. I got even.
Sorry, you got an even number. Okay, so you take a right turn, and as you do, you get up to these steps, and as you look at the kind of doorways near you, you actually see that they are numbered, and there are many of them, pretty close together. And you luckily turned onto what seems to be the even side of the numbering, because it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, and it's rows and rows of doors. However, as you get near to the back end of it, you notice that this area only goes to about 18. But there is another set of stairs that seem to go upward from here as well. That also kind of turn back. You guys gonna keep going up the stairs?
Yeah.
All right. So you're running. You guys, you keep going. You get up the stairs, and then it's 20, 22, 24, 26, and you're like, God damn it! And you're like, God, I gotta get to the 3rd level. Can everyone roll an athletics check? I just want to see if you guys can get up there fast enough before other people might follow you.
Oh God.
15.
Okay. What'd you get, Thad?
12.
Okay.
Ivo got 19.
Rowena got 10. Okay, that's enough. Everyone got 10. It's good. So you get up there. You're able to kind of turn that other corner, and now you kind of get a sense of how these stairs are leading you on. You're not paying attention to any of the other doors there. You're just trying to get to the 3rd floor as fast as you can. And you get up there, and you get there, and you go 30, 32, 34, 36. Wait, fuck, 34! And you kind of like, do like a little cartoon skid to a stop. And there is a door with the number 34 kind of carved into it on this wing.
Let's knock.
Let's just bust in. Let's bust in. No knocking. We're busting.
I don't know
right
about busting. I think we should just go.
So you, Ivo said it first. So you swing the door open, and it is like wildly just, and then like you as you open the door, you first don't see anything, but you do hear a little bit of like a gasp, like a, And then as the door slams open, you kind of hear in a more stern and forceful voice, but a female voice. What do you want? Who's there? And you notice the sound came from behind a wooden partition where there seems to be the foot of a bed, and you can see kind of feet under blankets at the on the bed, but you can't see the face.
We're from the supervisor.
Which supervisor? Markham?
Go.
I didn't hear you there, Rowena. Sorry.
Keep going.
Keep going? I don't know. Are there other supervisors that work here? Can you just come a little closer? It's hard to make out who you are. I can't recognize your voice. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Dad gives a little nudge to Zunis.
Feels wrong.
Is Zunis going forward?
I'll join with Rowena.
So you guys both roll there. Can I have you both roll dexterity saving throws?
21.
21. And then Zunis, what'd you get?
Okay.
7.
So as you round where their partition is, Rowena, you just see her suddenly just duck real quick, and you don't know what happened, but as soon as you see her duck, all you see is this glint of metal just fly right at you, and it sticks into your shoulder right between your your armor and your chainmail, and it kind of digs in a little bit. It's not a very big dagger, but there is a dagger that just flung at you from it, and you take 6 points of damage from this dagger flying through the air. And then you hear the feminine voice that was quite calm, a little bit demure at first, suddenly change into a much more aggressive tone. I said, who are you and what do you want?
Callaway?
And then you hear a metal clatter next to her. She says, close the door behind you. Now.
Close it.
Done.
As you get around the partition, now you get a better look at Callanway. And you see that she is lying in this her bed, kind of lying down backwards. And as you kind of see the shape of her under the blankets, you kind of get up to her face, and you do see that she also has bandages around her eyes. There is no discharge yet, but she does have this disease, it seems to be at this point. Be careful saying that name here. The people around here know me as Fenrisha. And as soon as she finishes saying I'm Fenrisha and Thad or Iva, whoever was in the rear that was closing the door, you barely get the door closed before you feel this force push it open, and McGuffey nurse, who was yelling at you earlier, storms in and she says, "What are you doing in here?"
We're here to see our friend.
You don't even know this, but Fenrisha, I'll get them out. Don't worry, just rest, dear. And Fenrisha does kind of put her hands up. She's like, wait, Janet, it's okay. Don't worry. They're with me. It's okay. These are just my friends. They were here to visit me. I'm so sorry. They're a little, I don't know all of them. One of them sounds a little bit like an asshole. It's probably him. Don't worry. It's fine. They're with me. She kind of,
we had to come and see our good friend Fenrisha after I served with her, back many years ago. It only seemed right to come see her in this hour of need.
Okay, so a couple of things there. One, you smell like booze. Two, I've known Janet for almost 20 years, and I don't know when or where you served with her, but that's a lie. And three, I don't know what nonsense you did to me, but I swear to God, if I see one more thing of weirdness, I fixed it. One more thing of weirdness happen from you, I'm gonna throw you off the roof. We on the same page?
Sure, Janet.
So Janet huffs and closes the door and leaves.
She's wild, Fenrisha.
Yeah, she's a good friend, and you did, probably do something wrong. So in either case, I'm glad you're here. There's a lot to say. First off, what did the supervisor need from me? Did she give you anything else? Did she get my last statement?
No, she hasn't heard from you. And she's deputized us to go take care of Lena, if you know what I'm saying.
Damn it, yes, I do. Lena's behind all of this, I'm certain of it.
I'm sure she is.
Wait,
Behind the plague?
behind what? The bandages on your eyes?
Yes, I think she caused all of this.
What makes you think that?
Well, how?
I don't know how much the supervisor shared with you, but my position here at the temple gives me access to the top echelon of Castleton. It's one of the reasons why I'm used as an informant there. I was doing my duties to the Erzatsurai, and I managed to overhear Lena and her plans. She's certainly created this disease. I don't know exactly how it works or what it does, but the terrifying thing of all of this is just a test. The bigger game plan is to launch this on Wadep, and use and position herself or whomever she's working with, likely Jackson, to dole out the cure as some type of savior. Last reports show that they had captured one of the Lord Rulers, and I think Jackson is going to use this act of goodwill to cement his position on the council.
Wait, okay. How do you think they're distributing the well water, right?
I'm not certain. I wasn't able to tell, but it seems as though it's got to be the water.
Did you drink water?
Yes, but we all do. Many of us do. Not everyone fell victim to it, so I can't clarify or verify that that's what happened. But I do think it has to have something to do with the lake. There were several lordless stationed out by an abandoned jetty that no one has used in several years that I can remember. It would be very strange to pay mercenaries to guard an empty building.
You were the only one who saw these lordless?
I don't know if I'm the only one that saw them, but I think I'm the only one that saw them with purpose. And could put two and two together.
Wait, and did you tell the supervisor this in your latest correspondence?
No, I haven't been able to write. I can't see. The last one that I told her, though, was that Forward Motion was selling and creating ships, I think, from what I saw. I couldn't see everything that was in the crates. But it seems as though they're building something, and Forward Motion creates flying vehicles. My concern is that's how they're planning on distributing this. Or moving it, I'm not certain.
Tell us more about Forward Motion.
There's not much to say. They're a new company. Very entrepreneurial. It's quite new. They've been a thorn in the side of RisenWorks since they've started, and they've been gaining quite a bit of traction selling new airships that they argue are better, and in some cases they are. They're quite a bit faster, if not as large. But I don't know if they're malicious in their partnership. Not everyone knows that Lena is clearly causing harm. Nothing in our other reports or other things that I've heard suggest that Forward Motion is, a shell company of dastardly repute.
What can you tell us about getting close to Lena? What any information you can pass us about, people who maybe her security or a place that we could easily intercept her or just get close to her?
These days, we've only really seen her stay in the top levels of Blackstaff Tower, which is the castle, like the main castle keep inside of Castleton. We haven't seen her leave the facility in quite some time. There are rumors that she has secret passages in her chambers, but I've never been allowed in, so I can't confirm that. I'm not sure. The thing that I can confirm is that the captured Lord Ruder, Serena, is likely being held somewhere within Blackstaff Tower. I overheard a few of the lordless talking about a young woman, describing her based on the description. It matches the Lord Ruler, and I think they might have kidnapped her.
What can you tell us about Serena?
Well, truth be told, quite a bit. She's very young. She's the youngest sitting ruler in now must be 100, 200 years. Her father recently passed and vacated the seat. And as is typical, it did fall on his daughter in the interim. She's pretty fiery, but most acknowledge that she's very smart. A little outspoken, but normal for a 19-year-old. Nothing else that you would expect.
How did her father die?
He was quite old. He must have been 90 almost. So nothing suspicious. Seems of natural causes.
Yeah, really.
It's not uncommon for lord rulers to abuse their position, I'll say.
What's Lena's endgame, do you think?
If she is, from what we can tell, truly in an alliance and couple with Jackson, it would be to get Jackson a seat of power, and then they would essentially rule almost all of the island. Jackson would be ruling from the city, along with the rest of the Lord Rulers, but who knows how long that would last if he was able to bring his power and consolidate it this quickly. Who knows what he could do to the rest of the council. And with Lena essentially already governing the second largest city on the island, it wouldn't be much more work for them to take control of the whole region.
Is there any whisper of a cure for this disease? Can we help you in any way?
Well, there's nothing that we've been able to find. This disease is unnatural, is the only way I can put it. The symptoms don't even seem to make sense together. The blindness is one thing, but the death is sudden and doesn't seem to be affected by anything. We've tried divine means from the temple. We've tried natural remedies and medicines from our best doctors, and nothing seems to make difference. It must be some type of arcane curse spread via physical contact with something. I'm not sure what. As far as a cure, I know that she is working on one. I was able to assess some of that from the notes that I was able to intercept. There's a cure being worked on. The goal is to give the cure in an effort of making Jackson appear as some type of savior being. Who knows? I'm sure it would help leverage and catapult him into an actual position of power in Wadep.
So, other than killing both Jackson and Lena, is there any other way to stop them?
Lena is vicious. I think everyone would say that, and cruel is certainly not a step beyond. But sometimes that cruelty can be used against her. She's vindictive. I've seen her go after people for the smallest things, and she does not stop. She scares me more than a mob boss, I'll be honest. It was terrifying to be there. If perhaps she thought Jackson was betraying her, maybe there's something there. But from a practical standpoint, killing her probably is the easiest way, but what repercussions that means for the island as a whole and the governance of Castleton, I'm not certain. Perhaps there's something that can be done if we investigate more of the crates being let in from forward motion. I've seen them traveling along the main roads. They are heavily under guard, though, by the Lordless, so I would be cautious. And of course, I don't know what they're doing at the lake, but there's clearly either a base of operations there or something that they're guarding nearby it. I can give you directions to either.
Sounds like the lake might be a good place to start.
What's the security like around Lena? What kind of guards does she have?
Heavy. There's one of the leaders of the Lordless are around, Valdru. He's a red dragonborn. He's quite intimidating, smart, cunning. I think his reputation, he's called the Butcher. Valdru, I believe, was his actual name. He's almost always near her or at high priority targets. Not to mention the rest of the Lordless that just follow suit. So I would say no less than 5 guards, including Valdru, at any one time. Usually, unless Valdru is doing something else. Not to mention just the regular guards of Castleton who would want to protect their ruler.
DM, since I know I'm familiar with the Lordless, is there any other questions that I should ask? Maybe a history check or something like that, like something else that I should ask her about what the guard is like or what the security is like?
Good question. It might be smart to know how Valdru was communicating with the leadership of the Lordless, and if he mentioned anything about how this mission was going, or how Lena was paying them.
Ooh, yeah. So yes, I kind of asked that about if she saw what the communication was like, and then if she had any insight into, the payment of it or what they were getting out of it, specifically like the Lordless and that group.
There was definitely money involved. I'm not sure too much on the details. Truth be told, my main focus was Lena's notes and some of the correspondence she was sending back and forth between Wadep and not so much the Lordless. Valdru seemed oddly loyal to Lena. I couldn't make out why. And I did overhear him arguing with other members of the Lordless around payment, as if payment hadn't been paid in full. I'm not certain 100% of what that means. I assume gold is typically how they get paid. Knowing the Lordless, that's almost always what they seek, is profit. Every now and then they look for a more well-given space of land, so that they can build a new base. But to my understanding, they're not trying to do any of that on Wadep. Mirabar is quite close to here, and you would know Mirabar is kind of their headquarters and the main island that they are from. But it does seem as though there's some strife between Valdru on this particular task with Lena. You would know this about Valdru, though, too. Valdru is one of the higher leaders in the Lordless, and is usually assigned a lot of missions and is given a lot of sovereignty to make decisions on his own. But if there's an issue with that, it might mean the other heads of the Lordless Crown might be questioning his judgment.
I guess then, on that note, much like you are an informant and help to us, is there anyone closer to Lena or among the Lordless that might be a help to us as well, if you know what I mean, who might be not completely satisfied and happy with their position and be looking to do some internal damage?
That would cause that? I'm not certain. She rules with quite the iron fist. Not very many people are brave enough to speak openly against her, so I'm not too certain. I have noticed that she has been placing more and more of the city guard with the Lordless Crown. My guess is in an effort to weed out any dissidents. But perhaps if you're able to find former guardsmen, maybe former leaders within the guard, you might be able to find an ally there, but no one that I was able to pursue.
Anything we could say so we come across as like an ally? We were kind of told
An ally to whom?
to these guardsmen.
I don't know if
Any
I would.
type of shorthand or slang or something that would make us appear so we don't come across as dummies.
No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't know. I didn't communicate with them very much. But they're good people for the most part. Just like any other guard, I'm sure if you bought a few a drink and had a conversation, it might lead somewhere beneficial.
The old buying a drink trick. That's familiar with that.
60% of the time works every time.
I'm curious, are you going to get your sight back, or is this pretty much standing alone for you?
She kind of like stays silent for a bit, and you see her kind of face the ceiling, not that she can see it. And she shares, I don't think. And then she just gets very practical and like very stoic in her voice, and she shares, no one has survived this so far. After about a week or so, after the pus becomes pretty excessive, you usually have a day or two after that.
Do they tell all the patients that?
We've been
You
trying
just
to save them,
hear-
but as of now, it's not best. Most we can do is make people comfortable and try to find ways to extend their life until the cure is found and distributed.
Maybe join the Erzatsurai.
Did you hear Anna's question?
No, I didn't.
She said, what made you join the Erzatsurai?
Roll a persuasion check. Let me know what you get.
15.
I've worked in the temple almost all of my adult life, and I've seen people worship these gods hoping for miracles and blessings, and almost always it's nothing in return. And they give and they praise, and it just seemed futile. One day I was approached by someone who thought similar to me, and they shared with me a truth that I think I had known all along.
May I do lay on hands and see if that does anything?
Sure.
Since they've been so helpful.
Yeah, you do kind of touch her, and you see that she kind of like recoils a bit because she wasn't expecting you to touch her. How much health are you giving to her?
10 out of my 25. No, I'll give 15.
So she kind of like breathing deep, and you can see that she's kind of picked up a little bit. She's able to kind of lift her head, but she's still clearly not able to see. She can't make out. She says, "It's very kind of you, but we've tried things like this, and while it does help slow the progress of whatever this curse is, it doesn't stop it."
Well, thank you for helping us out and all your insight and honesty. Zunis gave you some help to at least make you feel a little bit better. But Fenrisha, is there anything else to? Or no, not Fenrisha. That's not your name.
No, Fenrisha's
That is the real name.
Oh, that's right. That is his
Pseudonym.
name. Yeah. That's right, Fenrisha. Is there anything else, because you've been so nice to us, is there anything else that we could do for you before we get too deep into dealing with Lena?
She kind of like reaches around on the bed, kind of like feels around for a bit until she gets her hand on her nightstand. Kind of like you could see her pull open her door, and from this she's doing a lot of things by memory here, and she pulls out a ring from her nightstand. And she says, "This used to be my wife's before she passed. It was her dream to just travel a little bit more before she passed, and I always promised that I would do that when my work here was done. I haven't really been able to. Would you take this with you and just let it see the world?"
Yeah, of course. What was your wife's name?
What's that? Sorry, you cut out there, Clayton.
What was your wife's name?
Cornyn.
Cornyn. Yeah, we will take the ring for sure. So I'll take the ring. Yeah, cut out again.
No, you got it. Yep. She kind of gives you the ring, hands it to you, and she says, "Thanks." She kind of holds it out, waiting for you to grab it because she can't really see you. But she feels like you grab it. She says, "Thank you." And you can kind of hear her slightly, sob underneath the bandages. But however this disease works, it doesn't seem like she can actually cry.
Do I notice anything in particular about the ring, or does it just seem like a very nice but just practical or same old ring? Nothing special about it.
It's a gold band with a diamond on the top. The diamond doesn't seem to be huge. Like a modest family would save up for a long time and maybe keep passing this down generation to generation. You assume the diamond is probably worth about 50 to 100 gold. It's really not a very big stone. Other than that, it's very simple. It's clearly very well worn. There's a very deep patina on the inside of the ring. It does seem to resemble a marriage or engagement band from what you've seen in the world.
Okay.
We're honored that you give us this response.
Thank you. She kind of just tunes back. She says, if I'm still here when you're done and you need anything, I guess you know my room number now.
We won't soon forget you, Federation.
Clayton, you said you had the ring?
Yeah.
Okay. Do a quick perception check.
I have a 23.
On the inside of the band, it's very hard to make out. It's super, super, super faded from wear and from the patina. But you can see that there are carved spirals on the inside of the band.
Okay. Do they look familiar? Have I seen them anywhere else, or is it just I noticed?
They are not in the same orientation, but they do seem to be the same spirals in the Erzatsurai symbol.
Rowena just called that. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
All right, team. We should get out of here.
We'll let you go back to your rest. Thank you so much. You've been very helpful.
She kind of just like nods a little bit and turns back over to try to find a comfortable position.
Should we try and find a place to regroup and discuss our next steps? Or do we know where we want to head?
Yeah, I don't think we should be hanging out here too much longer.
Yeah. We could
So
start
just
walking
going in
toward
for a quick sec.
whatever destination.
Do you mind if I take a bathroom?
Yeah. Actually, if you guys all want to take a bio break, it's a good time.
Bio break.
Yeah, we can pause for a bit. Back on. Oakley dokley. All right. So, where were we? You guys were just leaving Fenrisha after a bit of a heavy conversation and an ass that she gave you. But
that was like the heaviest thing of all time toward the end.
you did ask a
Great.
dying person what you could do for her, so
Yeah,
I know.
kind of stepped into that one.
Did you know she was a lesbian? Or was that made up on the spot?
Everything there was made up on the spot.
That was great.
Wow.
That was like Oscar worthy.
Yeah, that was
Nailed
great. Thad, do you have any ale that we could all take a little bit of the edge off of with? I think
We shouldn't be drinking anything else.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water.
I'll actually
drink
break
the
out
water.
a nice. Dad has like different bottles strapped to his pack, and he's actually going to break out a really nice cask of something that he passes around, and he says, "Everyone, this is some of my old family brew, the bottle brought mead. We only break it out on special occasions these days, but please have a swig."
Keep that.
Thank you.
It is strong, but it is delicious. It is some of the best alcohol and imbibery you've had in almost your entire life.
Wow.
My family
Nice.
Sounds like 4
brew it,
weeks.
they knew how to do it.
That's the bar.
Do you guys have a tap room?
Oatmeal stout.
We do.
Oh, nice.
I walked away from that life myself. I had a different calling.
Other than slinging kegs and ale casks and some sort of fries and pretzel and cheese dip kind of lifestyle.
Those fries, dude, are so good.
Yeah. The bottle brew pizza bites.
It's with beer
Bringing
bread
me
wrapped
back.
around it. It's great.
Thank you, Pat.
Should we head directly to our next destination?
So,
Where do we want to go?
I'll say, because we didn't go over it in detail, but Penrisha would have known. So there's a couple of spots that she kind of highlighted. One is by the lakeside, which is pretty close to the Temple of the Saviors. It's actually up and kind of to the northeastern portion of the Celadrine Lake. Less than a couple hours walk is a old abandoned jetty and like fishing hut that she saw the the Lordless kind of clustered around there. A few people kind of coming in and out of that space and it's hovering around a abandoned hut seems strange. And then she also mentioned that Forward Motion was sending crates of things by wagon, also being escorted by the Lordless via the high road from Wadep to Castleton. So you could either try and go to that abandoned fishing hut up to the northwest, or you could swing a little bit more south, catch the high road, and hopefully find one of the wagon caravans heading towards Castleton, depending on what area you'd want to pursue more.
To me, it seems a little more interesting to go towards the abandoned hut, just because, you know, the thing that seems a little bit more discreet sometimes can hold bigger mysteries. And it's close.
To Jackson's men or more people on the high road.
Which we may befriend, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys do. Oh, please. Yeah.
Or DM, before we leave, can I once again check to see if I perceive anyone following us or anything suspicious like I did before?
You have dark vision, but it's raining. I'll cancel them out. I was going to give you a disadvantage for the weather, but I think it's okay. Go ahead and roll again. Do a perception check for me.
Ooh, I had 23 and I rolled a natural 20.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. That's pretty close. Off in the distance, it is hard to make out. One, just through all the hubbub, and there's still a lot of buildings. But you swear moving from building to building was a figure that had a cloak pulled over its head. And you must have been crazy, but you swear it looked like a beak poking out of the hood. And then it was gone.
All right. Well, very interesting. I'll let everyone else know what I saw, and just to keep an eye out. This seems a little suspicious. That seems familiar. What did we see? Have we come into contact with another creature that had a beak?
Yes.
It's the cemetery.
Yeah.
That's right.
I wouldn't be shocked if we were being followed.
Right. By those creatures.
People checking up on us, making sure we're doing as the Erzatsurai ask. I wanted to say Yakuza.
Okay. Okay. Well, good to know. Let's carry on.
So you do kind of follow one of the other roads going through the residential area and kind of around. And as it kind of gets closer to the lakeside, this road kind of follows. The homes start to kind of drop away a little bit. Now they're more spread out. Pretty much everywhere on Wadep, with the exception of near Griffin over to the east and where Mount Wadep is, there's almost always a building within sight. But they're pretty spaced out at this point here. The area towards the north is a little bit more agrarian. There are some bigger gardens. I wouldn't even call them farms. Some fish processing areas. Some of the bigger warehouses, storehouses are kind of in this area too, but they're pretty well spread out. And as you follow this road up, kind of to the north, and it connects to what's called the New Road, you do see that there are spattering of little huts, some bigger, some smaller, some more dense, some not, on the lakeside, clearly meant as little fishing huts and ways for villagers to live as well. There is one that Fenrisha kind of marked out for you that had a thatched roof that was a little derelict. Most of it was broken, small, and there is a bit of a jetty off to it. You're about maybe 500 yards away from it, as you can see in the distance. Can I have all of you roll a perception check for me? It is still raining, by the way, so I would like everyone to have a perception check. Unless, Ivo, are you wearing those goggles that you got from Coverold?
Yes.
Did you have? I will allow you to retcon it because I don't remember if you had them. Were you wearing those when you were looking for what was around you, by the way?
Yeah.
So just remember, whenever you do a perception check that requires sight, you get advantage.
Yeah. No, for that one I rolled twice. Yeah,
okay,
I get advantage.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay, yeah. Awesome. So in this regard, Ivo, I'm going to let you keep advantage because you have some magical means of helping you, and you have dark vision. But for everyone else, I'm going to let you roll perception at disadvantage to see what you can see on this area. Just let me know what you get.
I just rolled a 3, so I can't imagine it'll be worse than
You try to look through the rain and it's like, oh, fucking my eye!
11.
11, okay.
9 was my second one, so I guess I'm stuck with 3.
How much, Dad?
18.
Okay.
17 for Ivo.
Nice. Okay, let's get that queued up then. Okay. Light. Okay. So it is still getting later on the nighttime because you guys haven't rested or stayed. You've just kind of been pushing through it. Now it's getting pretty late. I'll say if you got at the temple at about 6, you talked to Fenrisha for a bit, avoided everything, got out. It's probably about 8 p.m. now. As you see in front of you, I'll put on the map a little bit of what Ivo and Thad can make out. Somewhere here. There we are. Burp, 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 burp. Burp. It is a fishing hut that you can see. Seems a little broken. Behind it is remnants of an old garden, and the jetty that you can kind of see out in the distance. Ivo and Thad can see that there are 2 figures standing there, and both of you can actually see, based on how well you've been able to kind of perceive into the darkness, they seem to be staring toward the lake, which is odd because there's nothing on the lake. The lake is empty. There's nothing there. So it's weird that they wait there. And you, in the distance, they still can't see you. No one has noticed you, and you're just another traveler on the road in the rain, which is maybe a little weird, but not super out of the ordinary. So no one has looked back at you or made mention, or you can tell that they can see you. And so as you sit there and kind of try to perceive a little better, after waiting a few minutes, you actually notice that from the lake, a little bit out from beyond the dock front, the jetty front a little bit, you notice that you just see a small little round shape just whoop, float up to the surface. And then the two figures go and pick up what seems to be a round barrel or something, hard to tell exactly what, and they walk it back towards the hut. And they walk back towards the jetty, and they just face the river again, as if they're waiting for whatever just occurred to happen again. What would you like to do from here, friends?
Oh, Rowena. I don't know if you can sneak in closer and see if you can hear what they're saying or get a look at that package or whatever just was moved in.
Yes.
Seems like a moment for stealth.
I'll gladly sneak in closer.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
And DM, where are we standing again on the map?
You're not technically on the map just yet.
Okay.
You're still a pretty good ways away from this. You're about 300-ish yards away, so almost a football field.
Got it.
24.
You feel...
Wait. 300 yards is 3 football fields.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. My fault. The longer one. You're far. So...
he used up all his sports knowledge earlier.
I did. I had a Steve Nash ref, and that was it. You feel very well hidden. This is kind of the best environment to be sneaky in, and you're able to, really move slowly, try to hug the sides of the earth. People aren't really noticing you, and it's super easy for you to not make very loud noise right now because the rain is almost beating out everything. As long as you don't have a light on you, you are okay. It's a little tough for you to see because you're a human without dark vision, and it is dark, so it's just the light of the moon, and the rain is obscuring a lot of it. But you are well hidden.
Okay, what do I see?
As you get a little bit closer, you're able to kind of get and sidle up. I'll say you're right on the fishing hut. Unfortunately, on this side of the fishing hut, there is no window, so you can't see into it. But as you kind of poke your head around, you do notice that you can really make out what these two figures are. And you've seen people like this before. You've actually last encountered them when you saw them with Captain Yao. These are also Lordless Crown mercenaries, 2 of them. And as you wait there for just a minute or two, you do see after, I would say maybe closer to 5 or even 10 minutes, you're really just trying to hunker down. You do notice another bloop thing floats to the surface that they go and take out. And what it is actually a cask. It's like a small barrel, not very big. You can carry it. It looks as though one person could carry it, but they both go and grab it. And they have it kind of carried between them. And it seems pretty heavy by the way they walk. And as they turn towards the fishing hut, you are able to shoot back and not be seen or heard. And you can't look at them anymore because you can't poke your head around. But you do hear the door to the fishing hut kind of close behind, and they walk back out towards the lake.
Okay, I go back to the group and I tell them everything I saw. I saw 2 Lordless. There's these barrels popping out. They don't look that big, but it takes 2 of them to carry them. And they brought the barrel into the fishing hut.
Do you think they're using it to produce the disease?
Oh, that's a good call.
Seems likely.
Yeah. Wonder if we could somehow pose as one of them or use the invisibility cloak. Or did the invisibility cloak lose its powers or something?
Well, Bettany was the person who was able to cast invisibility.
Oh, that's right.
You do have Firo with you, though, and Firo can turn invisible.
Oh.
That's helpful.
I think we need to see into that hut, and we need to see into what's inside the casks.
It's not really my thing, but I guess I can try if you want me to, Zunis.
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah, Zudis, you tell him. He listens.
We need this one. I know you're protecting me, but I think this is the best form of protection you could give us right now.
You're probably not wrong. Whatever they did was clearly unnatural, and I get the feeling Sylvanas wouldn't want it to be around anyway. And he just kind of like blinks twice, and he's invisible. You do notice, though, because it's raining, you can still see the rain kind of like... So he can still be discovered, but it would be harder for people to see him. But you kind of hear from this, disembodied voice now, I guess this will have to do. And he turns around and tries sneaking back that way. Didn't do too good. Good thing he gets advantage for being invisible. The second one was a little better. See if people see him. Oh, natural 1. Okay, no one sees him. Good. So he is able to make it to the fishing hut without much, no one noticing him. Kind of pokes his head in there and looks through. And you kind of hear it before you see it, but you hear this like something is moving quickly towards you, and then you see in the rain that it's the outline of Firo, who kind of like was there for a minute, didn't take very long, and started hauling back. And then you hear as he kind of like blinks out of invisibility. Pretty sure he saw me. I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure he saw me. Sounded like it was that like Vardu dude, red dragon, right? Red dragon? Yeah. We're probably gonna have to kill him. So, yeah.
Wait, the one who's Lena's main bodyguard?
And as you, yes, and I mean, he doesn't, he probably got the name wrong because he wasn't paying attention. But it does sound a lot like Valdrew. And as he's there back to you, you do notice the fishing hut door slams open, and light from the inside of the fishing hut is now coming outside. You can see that it is open, and out does step a very tall figure. With, you can kind of see in the silhouette of the light coming out of the fishing hut. It's a tall figure with a reptilian type face and a very long snout that seems to end in a very sharp talon-like beak. He opens his mouth like almost like he's yawning, and you can see rows of sharp teeth in there. He's got armor on. He's pretty big. From this distance, you can't quite make out a ton of detail, but Ivo knows that it is Valdrew, and he can tell it because of the silhouette of what he's wearing. Valdrew has a reputation for being quite ruthless in battle. He is known as the Butcher, and in jest or in a tongue-in-cheek way, or just again to add more cruelty, Valdrew wears a leather butcher's bib at all times.
Ugh.
I love that.
Can we see, is there anyone else behind him, or is it just him in the doorway?
Firo did see that there was one other person inside, another lordless. So there's two still outside by the dock. Strangely, though, Valdrew has not turned in your direction.
Wait, so why do you think he saw you? You said he looked right at you.
I swear he looked right at me. I was still invisible, but I don't know. Maybe they had...
Maybe he was just looking through the rain.
It felt like he looked in my eyes.
Everyone, be quiet.
Well, what else did you see in there besides the two people?
There were a few more of the casks stacked up against the wall. There were regular things inside of a fishing village. Funnily enough, there were fish. Valdrew was giving orders. I couldn't make out everything he was saying, but something about be careful, save these until the other crates arrive. We need all of them. And then something about, I didn't hear the number, but more are expected to arrive tonight.
Well, thanks for doing that for me.
I think, I don't know. He seemed to say, he seemed to be very worried about the dock, and making sure the dock was watched at all times. But you're welcome, Zunis, and I'll help as far as I can until Sylvanas calls me back.
Oh, are we gonna battle or just get out of here?
Well, I'm wondering if these, because what Farinsha was talking about, how they were looking to make these people sick in order to have an antidote to leverage to heal them and to take power. I'm wondering if these casks are somehow the antidote. If there's, I don't know, it's weird that they would be poisoning. Right, she said they were poisoning the lake, so it'd be weird that these casks come out and they need to be protected. I wonder if somehow the antidote is derived from the lake and the poison they've been putting in it.
They didn't mention what was in there, so I don't know, but it's possible, I guess. It makes sense to me.
It'd be great if we could get it and then just distribute it to everyone, including our friend.
Calvin. Yeah, if we could somehow get our hands on it, that'd actually be even better. We could take it back to the temple and save a bunch of people.
Make up for all the deaths we caused.
True. I didn't think of it like that.
Right. Good way to remind us, Zunis.
We're evil. We're not. We killed so many. All right. So I say we gotta go for it.
I think it's enough cause to try to take those from, investigate those casks more to see if they are indeed the antidote, and to just at least disrupt their plans. But I think we should be, since we are going to be on the offensive, maybe a little strategic with how we want to do this.
That's true.
Plus, if we take down Lena and Jackson's guard, easier to get to them too.
True, but I think we should torture him for information.
That escalated quickly.
Ivo would know this if you're seriously considering that. The butcher might enjoy that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're better off just killing him. Quickly,
Good point.
too.
Maybe we can get some info from one of the guards, though. But I agree. We've got kind of a moment to strategize, and it sounds like we outnumber these villains.
Yeah. I think. Let me think. So we know there's 2 in the cabin and 2 on the docks. I mean, why don't we? Why don't we all approach them? I mean, we can approach them as much as we can, and hopefully catch them off a little bit by surprise. But why don't myself, Thad, and Thad and Zunis go in first? Rowena, why don't you try to sneak around and maybe get a little closer to the guards on the dock and take sorry, forgot who's with us?
Firo.
Apologies. And Zunis, you might have to instruct Firo this because he listens to you. But Firo, why don't you stay invisible and kind of hold off until we need you, like last time when you kind of come in and have a crucial blow?
I don't know if I can do that again right now.
What do you mean?
I think I can only do that a little bit of time. Let me give me a second to commune, and maybe Sylvanas will give me a little extra strength. Hold on 1 second. Which is DM speak for I don't know. Let me check. I don't remember if it was like a per short rest ability or not. I have to look for him.
That's the rules. I like it.
Gotta make sure the rules are fair for everyone, right? Campaigns. Sorry, I forgot when I restarted my computer, I had everything off and I didn't get it reloaded. My fault, friend. Sorry.
And while the DM is doing that, Thad or Zunis, do you guys have any spells that might be advantageous to cast first to kind of at least maybe confuse them or make them have a couple rounds where they're not able to reciprocate an attack?
Yes. As I recall, Zunis has his ability to entangle people and limit their mobility. I also have a fantastic spell for illuminating people in poor lighting conditions.
Oh my god. I completely forgot about one of my spells as well. Purify food and drink. I've never used it.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh,
I just never even
can
had
you
the
do it to
opportunity.
a whole lake?
Can you do it to a lake?
That's a question for the DM.
You can't do a whole lake. You can do a small amount of liquid. It actually, I think it says in the spell. Firo does kind of stand up now.
Within a 5-foot radius, yeah.
Does get in front, kind of stand up now as he kind of is finished meditating, and he says, yeah, I won't be able to do this again. Not until we can at least rest for 30 minutes, an hour.
To go invisible, you mean?
Mm-hmm. I can disguise myself, but I don't think that will help us here. It's possible I could try and pretend to be one of the Lordless, but I don't know if they would buy it.
No, I don't think they would. Well, no, I don't think they would. I feel like they know their ranks pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think our best bet is either having Thad or Zunis cast a spell early on to at least kind of confuse them or tangle them, and then kind of make our moves to try to at least have a couple rounds to attack them without them fighting back.
Okay.
If I'm to cast my spell, I'll need to get within 60 feet of them, and I do recommend that we all be close enough to get some melee strikes in while the spell is in effect for a minute.
I have an idea as well. What if we got some kind of bandana or whatever they're putting over their eyes and pretended that we were blind and were afflicted by the disease? Or at least one of us, and said one of our friends is not well. And we could go in as almost like a Trojan horse.
Firo chimes up and he says, I think that's pretty clever. They don't know who I am.
Okay, and what are we saying? We're just trying to take them to the lake or show them around?
Well, it's saying we're looking for anything to help them. But they'll probably just point us to the hospital, probably, though.
Right, or kill us.
Yeah.
No one's probably supposed to be investigating this.
Yeah, we can't really count on their kindness. But I did think that it would get them close, and then in a moment of weakness, we could attack. Rather than just full on.
You could try that.
Yeah.
At least close enough to doing some kind of spell on them.
Okay.
Who's going to try
It's
that?
kind of an unorthodox idea, but
I'm going to have to be able to see.
Well, let's if Firo is up for it, I could lend my I Heart Wadep t-shirt to cover his eyes.
No, don't do that.
All right.
Do that.
Firo took it already and has it.
God damn it. If oh, Jesus.
Firo rolled a 3 on his saving throw. So Firo puts it over his eyes, and you see it just kind of like just a little bit, and he's like, "This feels a little weird, guys." And he's trying to like tug at it, and he's like, "Is it not supposed to come off, guys? Guys?"
Well, sorry about that, dude.
This is the dumbest idea.
This is gonna make it a lot harder. But I'm sure we could make it work. And he asked for a little help. He's like, "Can you help just put my cloak over me a little bit so they can't see my armor?"
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Of course.
And someone's probably gonna have to hold this, and because he can't see, he just like shoots out his like glaive like up and down, so he tries to cut anybody. Can someone hold this for me, please? Just be close, because I'll need it back. Let's go. And this thing is huge to you, Rowena, if you're the one grabbing it. It's like oh, shit. But you've got it. Try to strap it to your back a little bit, but it's going to make it a little hard for you to sneak around, but you do have it with you. Or Ivo could put it in the bag of holding. That's an option as well. Whatever. But he says, is anyone else going with me, or am I going by myself?
Oh, we're all going, I
We'll
think.
escort you.
We're all
Yeah.
going.
Or maybe not Rowena.
Are you all
I think-
being blindfolded?
No.
Just you, friend.
Okay. I mean, I just want to put this out there in the world, because Ivo would definitely know. Valdrew will recognize you.
Oh.
No, it's just Ivo, right?
Yeah,
No,
he'll just recognize Ivo.
Haven't-
You're not sure if he would recognize
Okay.
Rowena, but there's a possibility of that as well. But the other two, he probably won't. He definitely won't recognize Firo. Not that you would know anyway.
I guess I could bandage my eyes as well. I don't have anything.
Well, I don't think there's much advantage
Yes,
to
we do.
everyone. You guys are the sneak attack. We just need one to come across as sympathetic, I think.
Well, he's saying I need to disguise myself, not necessarily.
Oh, you're the sneak attack, though.
I'll sneak
Hey, you
attack.
can just stay back. Do you have any?
I could just
range?
stay back then.
Yeah,
So why don't I do
me
that?
And
Well,
Thad and I
why
are
don't Zunis
pretty much
and
like a
Thad-
decoy.
Why don't Zunis and Thad take Firo up there, and I'll stay back with Rowena, and then we'll come in once you engage and cast a spell.
As soon as we cast our spells, rush in. Zunis, try to restrain the butcher. I'll light up as many people as I can. We're gonna try and take out the minions quick, so that we can dedicate our resources to killing the butcher.
Let's do it.
Zunis, restrain him, keep him out of commission. We're gonna handle everybody else.
Killed Zunin.
I've got my spell ready to go. I'm hoping for a good roll.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put Firo and Ivo and Rowena a little bit closer to the other side of the fishing, because you guys are already sneaking. He's over that way. Firo's starting to go in, and then these three are together.
Rowena and Ivo surround the perimeter.
All right. So Firo starts. Oop, I put.
Sorry, I was moving Rowena. I bet.
If you want to put her over towards Ivo in that spot, that's good as well, or wherever she was going to end up being. It's up to you guys.
Maybe do command minus.
Say that again.
Sometimes it blows this. Oh, sometimes it blows up the image.
Oh,
and
no, I see.
Then I do command minus, and I can see.
Oh, I
everything
see what you're
again.
saying.
I don't know why it does that.
It's probably just the server, or the site being funny. But Firo does start walking up. Pretty quickly, you guys do see that all of the Lordless now quickly turn around. And Firo is trying his best. We're going to do a quick performance check. Rolled a natural 20. So he's like, please, anybody help. He is pretty huge, though, so they're still a little taken aback, and they're all grabbing their weapons. Please, can you help me? I can't see. My friends saw your hut up ahead. I don't know what's happening. Can you help me? And then from the other side, from the dragonborn that you see in front of you, he kind of shares, "You shouldn't be here right now."
How close have we gotten to them?
Yeah, it seems like we're pretty far away.
I'll move you up there. I'll say you're probably there-ish.
We're
Okay.
so sorry. We're here for a specific reason.
Yeah, well, what's that?
Our friend is extremely sick, and we are just looking for anything to help him.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that going around lately.
I'm just gonna say Zunis now, and then I cast Fairy Fire.
Okay.
And I cast my ensnaring strike.
Okay. So I want everyone to roll initiative for me.
Let's go! Ivo got 17.
Nice.
I got 12.
17. Okay. Zunis got a
I got
12. Rowena got a 10. And just so I know, I still have Ivo and Rowena kind of far back. I will let you move up to 30 feet in whichever direction you want to before this battle starts, given how things were going. So let me know if you want to go somewhere specific.
Every square is 5, right?
Every square is 5.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just move myself. I think I got it.
Yep. And then Thad, what did you get on initiative?
On 8.
8. Okay. Oh, I thought you guys wanted to be on the further wings. Okay, that's cool. That'll work.
No, I
Well, you
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good. I heard. I'm gonna say, Zunis is gonna end up going first, given the initiative stack, and Thad, you'll go after.
Okay.
And I will say that, given the scenario and the lead up, the enemies are gonna have a surprise round, so they will not. They'll basically skip a turn in their initiative stack first.
It worked!
Yeah.
So Zunis, technically,
It's
actually,
Eric's turn.
it's going to be Firo's turn first. Firo doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have his weapon, so he is going to.
You're up.
What is he going to do? He's just going to cast, because he doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's going to cast Shield of Faith on himself, and
Smart.
up his armor class with +2. So he is now at a 16 armor class. Just make sure I remember that. Okay. So that'll end
DM,
his turn. Yes, please.
Is the on Firo? Is it at least on the front of his eyes? Did we get it so it says "I heart Wadep"?
It did.
Right
It
there?
literally says "I heart Wadep." Like the heart is like right in the middle, and it's "I heart Wadep." It's great. It's like perfect.
Nice.
Like it's comically because it's like raining. We're in this fierce battle, and it just says "I heart Wadep."
Nailed it. Yeah,
It's comical.
that's really what it is. It's perfect. All right, so
Cool.
that'll end Firo's turn. I'm just gonna skip some of these folks. Oop, did I go in the wrong order? I did go in the wrong order. That's all right. Ivo, it's your turn.
Okay, so
None of the other teammates have gotten the spells yet, or were you trying to wait until they did their spells first, just to be clear in the initiative order?
Oh, so we didn't even
I
cast
think
our spells.
the attempt was they go on the spells. We cast spells and then they go.
Okay.
yeah,
So it is in the initiative stack. You heard that you haven't seen them cast the spells yet. So what would you like to do?
Oh, well, I want to hold back. So we get to, so just so we're clear, so I'm looking at the screen, D2 and D3 are up after Zunis, so you're saying that we're going to skip them?
Correct.
Okay.
Mechanically, DM, can they hold actions?
I will let them do a hold. Correct. If they want to hold something for a bit. Technically, it's the ready action, so either way, it's half dozen in one hand. You tell me what they want to kind of hold off until they see it, and I'll allow it as a reaction.
Clayton, have you done that before? So
No.
it's basically like you can say like, I want to attack if X thing happens.
Gotcha.
So you could say like, if, somebody steps out of this door, I'll shoot an arrow at them. Or like, if I see Zunis cast this spell, then I do this. I think that's kind of right. Nate, feel free to correct me.
That's close enough. I'm not too persnickety on the hold action. Where it gets weird is people are like, I want this, this, and this to happen when that happens. And it's like, you can pick like one small thing or like an attack if you see him in range.
Gotcha. So let me zoom in a little bit. Is H1 the butcher?
H1 is the Busher.
And then there's one other guy inside the cabin.
Correct. He is still inside.
Okay. So I want to wait for the spells to be cast. Let me think for a sec. I think what I want to do Because I just want to wait till the spells are cast before I do anything. Yeah, could I guess, hold my action and then I'm gonna hold my action and then I'm assuming, I'll do this because the spell is gonna be cast on, I'm assuming the Butcher and H1 and the other ones that are seen, but we may not get the guy who's inside the cabin. So I want to, I guess, hold my action, and once he comes out, the other Lordless bad guy, I'm not close enough, but I'll take my longbow to him. So I hold that action and I guess fire my longbow when he shows up.
So if he comes out of the thing, you want to shoot him.
Yeah, if he comes out of the cabin or the little
Okay, yeah, I'll allow that. So that'll go to Zunis. Now it is your turn if you want to cast that spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast the Ensnaring Strike.
Are you doing Ensnaring Strike, or are you trying to do your Nature's Wrath? Because those are a little different. Ensnaring Strike is you gotta cast it on your sword and then hit him with it.
Oh, you're right. I'll do Nature's Wrath.
Okay, so you got to get within 10 feet, but you definitely have enough to do that. So it's a strength check, I think. What's the DC?
Good question. For Nature's Wrath?
Pretty sure it's not going to matter because he rolled a 2, but let's see.
It doesn't say.
I'm guessing it's strength or dex. So if you're looking on Channel Divinity Nature's Wrath, creature must achieve a strength or dex saving throw of DC 12.
It says DC 14 on mine. It's choice.
Oh,
DC
I'm on Firos.
14.
You're right. My fault. I was looking at Firos. I forgot you guys were the same class. So yeah, he definitely fails. He is restrained by these things. Successful hit. Nice work. Anything else on your turn?
Nope.
Cool. That will end your turn. That will bring us to 1. He's surprised, so we skip. 3. He's surprised, so we skip. Rowena, it is now your turn.
Trying to think what's advisable for me to do.
Kind of depends. What was the initial game plan to try to sneak up on these folks and get close to them?
Yeah, she said yes.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So I would probably recommend, because you can take the dash action as a bonus action. So I would say you could get up. You can get up in one of these folks' business. The 2 by the jetty or even H1, really wherever. And then you could also just hit them. Because they're surprised, it would give you advantage, which would still get your sneak attack. So you could sneak up and just unload on this dude.
Yeah, can I use the glaive?
You are not proficient in the glaive. So you can try and use it, but you wouldn't do it very well. You could also use your action to just give the glaive to Firo. Actually, that's a free action. I mean, you're just giving it to him. Just means you might not be able to make it as far. He want to be able to catch it. He can't see.
Well, I would like to throw the glaive at Firo.
Okay.
And then I would like to shoot H1 with my short bow.
Okay. So I'll put you here, or do you want to get closer to H1?
I'm good, right? I have range for the short bow.
Definitely. Okay, so Firo gets his glaive back because he stayed relatively close to him. He's got it in his hand, although he's still blinded. And you shoot at H1 at Valdrew with the short bow. Go ahead and roll to hit, and you get advantage on it, given that he's surprised currently. So you get your sneak attack on that as well.
22.
22 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Uh, 18.
And that included your sneak attack?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Big hit on this as you see it this arrow just pierced through the air and hit to him. He's pretty tough, dude, and hurt, but not enough to like knock him down or anything. He's still there, and now he kind of screams in pain, knowing full well that people are around him. Thad, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to cast Fairy Fire at these two guys in the back here.
What's the DC on Fairy Fire for you?
It is Dex 14.
The one on the left fails, and the one on the right succeeds.
Okay, so this guy on the left is outlined in violet light. And it looks like if you attack him, you'll get advantage.
I'm just going to add that to him. Edit. Bert, can I give him an aura? I can.
And I don't think if you I think you're fine if you save.
Perfect. Anything else you want to do on your turn, Todd?
Yeah, I think Thad is going to move in a kind of flanking maneuver. That's not really flanking, but... and I think I am 25
Yep.
feet. Yeah, I'm 25.
Cool. All right, that'll end Thad's turn. Bring us to Valdrew, but Valdrew is not... he's still surprised. Dude, Firo got a 20. So that'll bring us back to the top of the round, actually, because he was going last. And that brings us to the first Dragon Claw, the first Lordless member, who was still there. And he's the one that's outlined. And I think he's just going to charge in to who we saw attacking him. And that will be to Zunis.
Good.
And he's going to like take 2 swings with his scimitar at you.
Oh.
If it'll roll.
Nature's Wrath did nothing.
Well, it did it to who you wanted it to.
Yeah, it's true. Still
First one misses. Second one... Ooh, he got a natural 20.
Good. Hit points.
So you're gonna take 12 points.
My gills.
12 points of slashing damage on that one. But that'll end that Lordless's turn. That'll bring us back to Firo. Firo, unsure what to do because he can't see. He does hear you yelp in pain. And I'll say there's a little bit of the fairy fire light coming in through the white t-shirt, right? That makes sense. So we can kind of make out that there's a dude over here. He won't get advantage of his attack, but he's going to try and take his glaive to him a couple times. Come here, Firo. So he rolls... Ooh, nice. 23, first one will hit. He does... Not terrible. 5 points of damage to this guy. That glaive, you can tell these Lordless, though, are not super tough. This dude's pretty beaten up. Alright, I think that will end his turn. Yeah. So that's going to bring us now to Ivo.
Cool. Alright, so now I'm going to come up. If I can move me. Cool. I'm going to position myself between the Butcher and then D1. And I'm going to do a sweeping attack on both of them with my Shatter Spike. I mean, primarily at the Butcher, but since he's there, D1 as well.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll the D20, your hit to see if you hit the Butcher.
And I get to do it at advantage, right? I think we've been... Is it advantage I get to do?
Depends on what you're doing for your bonus action. You'll get advantage. You won't get advantage. He's not surprised anymore, so you won't just get advantage like you did the first time. But you can use one of your features. Like you can use what is it called? I can't remember. It's one of your samurai things.
Fighting Spirit?
Yeah, you could use Fighting Spirit. It just means you wouldn't be able to use your Sweeping Strike because that counts as your bonus action, I think.
So I gotta use one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's just do the sweeping
Okay.
attack then. Okay, so not advantage.
Yep.
So that was a 16.
That misses.
Okay.
So that sweeping strike, I think, won't land, if I recall that.
So I got a hit on the first one for it to work.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty certain. I'll double check. I'm looking through it right now, actually. Where is it? Why don't I see it on you, Ivo? Fighting Spirit, Second Wind. Other actions.
Yeah, it's under features and traits
I thought it was. Why don't I see it?
at the very bottom.
Oh, there it is. You learn 2 maneuvers. Oh, actually, so it just a heads up, that doesn't count as a bonus action. So if you want to take advantage swing on this, you can.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. Try to get better than 16.
Mm-hmm.
13. How's that do?
That misses. But you do get an extra attack. And because Fighting Spirit lasts to the turn, you still have advantage.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll again.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get it. This is gonna be better. So this one is a 23.
That does hit.
Nice.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
10.
Oh, I got to correct something too that I just forgot.
Damage is 7.
7, nice. So 7 points of damage. And do you want to roll that D6 and see how much you do to D1 as well? For your sweeping strike?
Yeah, let me do... It is a 4.
Nice, 4 points of damage. This guy's not doing so great. One quick thing of correction, and I'll allow you to remove Fighting Spirit if you don't want to keep it on. I forgot that you restrained the Butcher, so you actually are getting advantage on him anyway. I just forgot about that.
Gotcha.
If you want to save Fighting Spirit, you can. If you want to keep your 5 extra health points, it's up to you.
No, I'll keep my 5 extra health points. Just I feel like this might get a little intense. So,
so Zunis, that is your turn.
Okay, I'm just trying to see who I'm closest to. Yes. What's the status of D1 right now?
D1's not doing so great. He's pretty bloody.
Alright, I think I'm going to try and finish him off with my greatsword.
Okay, you get advantage on these hits because of Fairy Fire.
Alright. $16.
16 hits.
And should I may I attack again, or is
You can. Did you want to do damage first or attack twice? Because you get 2 attacks.
I'll do damage.
Okay.
10.
10, nice. He dies. You do still have an extra. You do still have an extra attack on your turn, though, if you want to use that for Waldrew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So great sword again. Go ahead and roll to hit, and you do get advantage again because he is restrained by you still.
Gotta say, I love the Indiana Jones in the background. 19.
19 does hit.
Nice.
And then damage is 12.
12. All right. You're starting to see some cuts get into him. He's starting to show a little bit of blood, and he does start to seem a little worried now. All right. So one of the Dragon Claws, one of the, I keep calling the wrong name because I have that in there incorrectly. One of the Lord charges out, and he's going to go straight for Ivo because you're the closest person he sees, and he's going to take a couple swings at you, Ivo, with his scimitar. First one misses. Second one misses. Hits.
Second one hits.
Oh, you're echoing now, Nate.
Yeah, I think Ivo took off his AirPods. So Ivo, you're gonna take 6 points of damage. And actually, he's gonna use one of his special abilities, and you're gonna take another 7 points of damage on that as well.
So 13 total.
Yep.
Woo! Do I get my attack on him though because he emerged?
No, that reaction only lasts for 1 round because you moved and attacked Valdrew in the middle of that. You lost that.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay, gotcha.
But that'll bring us now to the other Lordless, who is going to charge in as well. And I think they're just going to cluster around Valdrew and try to get him a little bit more taken care of. So he's going to go after Zunis with both of his. He's also going to use his special ability. Both do hit. So Zunis, he hit both of his attacks, and he's going to use his special advantage, his fanatic advantage, whatever that's called. And you take 6, 12, and 7. 19 points of damage, Zunis. As he really
Is
tries
that an out?
These guys don't mess around.
So that'll bring us now to Rowena.
You're all muted.
Thank you. How's Voldrew doing?
He's pretty bloody.
Okay. I'd like to take another hit at him with my short bow.
Okay. There's a lot of people around him right now. I'd say he has about half cover. So that's just going to make him a little harder to hit.
Okay. I'd like to try and hit one of the people surrounding him then.
Yeah, you can hit D2 or D3 without too much trouble, I'll say.
Okay. G2.
Okay, roll to hit.
One.
21.
Yes.
21 hits. And you get sneak attack on this one too.
One.
21, she said.
21. 21, actually, you just right through this dude's eye, and he just drops.
Poetic justice, since they were denying people their sight.
That will end your turn and bring us to Thad.
All right, Thad is going to rush forward into the place himself between Zunis and these foes here, and then simultaneously cast. That actually changes what I was gonna cast. As I'm running, I'd like to cast Scorching Ray, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So I guess, yeah, I'll stand here while I cast them because I'm throwing fire. But I'm going to throw... Let's see. If I do move down here, am I able to throw 1 at the butcher and 2 at the guy behind him? Or that might be impossible?
Nope, you can do that.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, that would be okay. Go ahead and roll all 3 of those for me.
Yes, coming in out hot. First, I'll do the 2 for the minion. Ooh. The first is an 11.
Miss.
The second is a 20.
That hits.
Okay, and then the third for the butcher is a 22.
That hits as well.
All right, so then for the first one, damage will be 2d6 for 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And
he's
then
still alive, but hurt.
And then for the butcher, it will be 8 points of damage.
So you notice the butcher doesn't even really try to get out of the way because he sees these fireballs coming. And he just and just takes it on the shoulder, and you notice it barely leaves a mark. Does a little bit, but doesn't do much. How much was the total again? 6, you said? 8. Okay, so he doesn't seem to take as much damage as you expect from that. Which will then actually bring us back to the butcher. And he says, So these are the people you've brought here, huh, Ivo? Didn't think that I was going to see you, did you? They like to play with fire, huh? Let me show you fire! And he takes a couple of steps back, kind of keeping it within range so you can't get any pot shots on him. And he just opens his mouth for this huge just roar and belches out this huge cone of fire to pretty much all of you. And it goes 15 feet, so I just want to get... Can't see math on this. I think that's a little bit far. So he won't get Rowena, but he'll get everybody else. And I need everybody else to roll. What is the throw on that? I need you to roll a dexterity. It is effective in the rain. It's still a shit ton of fire. So yeah. I need everyone to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh God.
9.
Okay.
And Anna said, including me.
Question.
Question mark.
No, Anna, you're good.
Okay.
14 for Thad.
How much for Thad?
14.
14. Okay.
14 for Ivo as well.
And I got to roll for Firo. Sorry. Ooh, not so great for Firo. Okay, everyone that was in that range takes 24 points of fire damage.
Oh, I'm way beyond dead now.
Yeah. So you drop to 0. You guys see Zunis just crumple to the floor, first to his knees and then over as you kind of see the hiss as the fire turns to steam. And Valdru kind of looks at you as 24, 2-4.
Right now it says failure, success, death saves.
Yeah, I'm going to have you do that next. And he kind of looks over at the other lordless that's here and he says, "Stop them from leaving. It's time for me to go." And he just turns around and takes off. You see him actually head towards the jetty. Oop. And he's going to get just there.
Bitch.
Do
I get a attack of opportunity there?
Not on him because of his ability.
Wait, so when he moved also before he did the fire, I didn't get an attack of opportunity on him then?
No. Not with Valdru.
Wait, why not?
Roll a history check.
15.
Valdru has a reputation of being a butcher. He wears this butcher's bib. You know that it's not just a joke. The butcher's bib has been rumored to have some extra abilities that it gets him.
Breathing fire.
All right.
Well, no, he's a dragonborn. That is just him. The ability to do things in combat are part of the bib. But he has taken off. You've got Zunis dying in front of you.
No.
You said
Don't
that
help
so
him.
plainly.
Is anyone else at 0, by the way? I know a few of you were close.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm technically like -11. To be completely honest.
Yeah, you don't do negatives unless they're like massive amounts, so don't stress it. You're at 0. And Ivo, you're pretty close. Thad. Oh, Pharaoh's not doing so great either.
I was like 44, like 3 minutes ago.
That's what happens when you attack one of the leaders of the fucking Lordless. 24. Okay. It was a really good strategy. You did a lot better than I thought you were going to do. All right. I think that ends his turn, and that'll bring us back to Firo. Firo, seeing that Zunis is on the ground, him being his number one target. Well, actually, he can't see you. Let's see if he heard you.
Oh, no.
He did not. You're unconscious. You have no clue. Firo can't see anything. And so he just says, "What's going on? What was that?" As he just like screams in pain. Not knowing what to do, he's going to heal himself. So he's going to heal himself.
Is he permanently blind now with this?
Until he figures out how to remove this from his face, or you guys do. Where is it? Where's your lay on hands pool?
Hans is going to be so mad we blinded.
He's going to give himself 10 points of health back. So minus 14. Apply. Okay. That'll end Firo's turn. Actually, he's just going to stay there. He can't see anyway. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Ivo, that's you. You still got one Lordless in front of you trying to block your path.
Yeah. Shoot. Okay, so I'm gonna do Fighting Spirit again.
Okay.
To give myself 5 more hit points.
Okay.
Let me just mark that really quick. Temporary, and then I'm gonna go after D2 with the Shatter Spike.
Go ahead and roll to hit. Remember, you get advantage.
See. 18.
18 does hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. Six. He is still alive, but hanging on. That'll bring us to Zunis. I need you to roll a death saving throw for me. So you're just going to roll a d20 and tell me if it's 10 or more.
Rolling a d20.
Just a d20, yep.
Yes.
Lucky number 13.
First save. All right, you're still unconscious, but you do have one save in the bag. That'll bring us to that creature. I think he's just going to go for the people that he sees still conscious, trying to create some space. He's going to get a little closer. He is literally going to throw himself at you, too. So first one he's going to go for is Ivo with his scimitar. He's going to reuse his... Oh, no, he actually already used that, so he can't do it again. So first one on Ivo hits you. You take 6 points of damage, Ivo. And then to Thad, misses you. But that will end his turn. That brings us to Rowena. It is your turn.
Okay. I would like to... I'd like to circle around to D2 and use my rapier.
Okay. You're there. Go ahead and roll to hit. Remember, you get advantage because you're in flank position for rogues. How much was it?
18.
18 hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Do I get a sneak attack bonus?
You do.
$23.
23. Awesome. He drops and just crumples. No longer able to handle the assault and falls down. That'll end your turn. It is now Thad's turn.
All right. In frustration and anger, he's going to scream out and cast Guiding Bolt at the fleeing butcher.
Roll to hit.
$19.
19 does hit.
Okie dokie. We're going to roll our 66 radiant. Our total of 21 points of damage.
Wow. Fuck. Okay. He takes a huge hit. By the luck of whatever, he's got 3 health points left. He's still up, though. That scared me. I heard 20. I was like, fuck. But he kind of hits it, and now he's not laughing. This whole time, he's almost been a little jolly about it. Now he looks back and says, "At least it was worth it. Still not the same, though. guess you guys will just have to go and get fucked without me seeing. And he just like, you see him grab something from under the jetty. And it seems to be a rope that he then just takes his weapon to and just cuts it. And at the same time, he like puts up his hand, still holding a sword, and gives you a finger, and just like it's pulled into the lake down. And as this is happening, you start hearing tick, 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 tick. I need everyone except for Zunis to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Can I grab onto Ivo and cast guidance?
Yes. I will roll your dex throw, and I'll tell you if you got it off in time.
Okay. Oh shit, 18.
Okay, yes.
So Ivo, roll a d4 in addition to whatever your dex save is, and you get to add it to it.
Nice. That was 15.
15, okay. Rowena?
7.
Oh, no.
Okay. So as you hear this, luckily for most of you, the ticking was pretty obvious and gave you a little bit of a head start as you're like, fuck, get out of here, thinking that Valdrew had done something to stage it. And you do like a action movie dive, trying to get away from it. And you hit the floor waiting for the explosion, and there isn't one. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? And as you look back to look through it, you see this boom, as the fishing hut just pushes you all back. Luckily, most of you are out of range. Let's see how far out of range we end up. 2d8.
Oh no.
12. So Ivo, Thad, and Firo only take 6 points of damage from the explosion. Rowena, you take 12 points of damage. Zunis, you have an automatic failure as you get blown away and take damage. So you have one save and one failure.
What the fuck?
But the fishing hut is decimated. Hard to see if anything is still left. Valdrew has somehow been pulled under the water.
Hey.
Jeez.
Jesse's been frozen in a shocked face for like 3 minutes. That's how I feel too.
Oh man. Well, as we stand up and brush ourselves off, can I cast Mass Healing Word?
Yes, you can.
What's everyone's hit points at?
15.
So go ahead and everyone except for Zunis. Shit, sorry, I should have changed the order on that. Add 7 hit points to your total.
Zunis will get health.
Oh, he would? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Any healing still goes to unconscious people. It'll actually bring him out of the unconscious state.
What does that bring him to?
7.
Oh, okay.
It's a hell of a lot
Get
better
back,
than 0.
baby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Hey, I'm here to serve.
So I need. Well, you guys tell me what you want to do. You have a village or a fishing hut that's kind of in ruins. Almost everything inside of it has been destroyed. You can search around there. You can try to figure out what the fuck Valdrew did.
Yeah, I want to go to the dock and try to just examine, like, to see if I can see out to where he might have went, and also just to look into the boats or anything else in that area at the dock.
So you do go towards the dock. Roll a. I'll let you choose an investigation check or a perception check, whichever you think is best.
Well, let me see what I'm better at. Perception, definitely.
Okay.
13.
Nothing special about the dock per se. As you look, though, you do see that there seems to be like a piece of metal attached to the end of the jetty there on one of the posts. And you kind of get a look at it, and you see this is the thing that Valdrew smashed with his weapon. And you can kind of make it out, and as you hold it up and kind of like rip it off of the wood post, you see that it looks like it was the other end of a winch, and there must have been a cable here, and this is likely how they were getting the casks to the surface. The boat seems like an ordinary rowboat, but I'll say with that perception, as you look around it, you do see some shining bits of glass inside of the boat.
Interesting. And he was pulled into the water, right? Like underwater?
Yeah, he was pulled underwater.
And do I see, like, I'm imagining it's dark, so I can't really see anything underwater. Like, there's no lights or anything like that, and there's nothing off in the distance. It's just a black, empty lake.
Yep, it's just a lake. It's a large lake, a relatively large lake, given the space. But there's nothing on the lake or in the lake. There's no island or anything. You don't see any lights coming from below it. And it's a relatively deep lake. It's not like, a great lake as an example, but it's a deep lake. Like, it's going to take you some time to get down to the bottom. You wouldn't be able to see it. It's not a particularly clean,
right? Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Okay, if that's all I see at the dock, then I think, can we, or at least I, examine then, or if someone else wants to examine the bodies, especially the other lordless who we just killed, the last one there.
Say that again, Rowena. Sorry. I'm sorry, I still didn't hear you.
I'll repeat what you said one more time.
I'll do that. I'll examine the body.
Oh, sure.
She'll examine the bodies.
Anyone who wants to examine the bodies, roll an investigation check for me.
Is Zunis alive?
Zunis is alive. He has 7 hit points, but he is alive.
Oh, okay, so I can give myself new hit points.
I got 27.
Okay. And then, Ivo, what'd you get? Because you were looking as well.
I got where is the investigation? 11.
11. So, Rowena, on 2 of the bodies of the Lordless, you actually do see that they had in their pouches these small vials of this like brackish liquid, and wrapped around it is like a piece of parchment tied with like twine to it, and you undo the twine, and on the parchment it says in common, "For emergencies only." Ivo, you do the same thing. You're looking on the Lordless to see if you find anything. On the third one, you see another one of those vials, but it has been smashed and empty. I will also say you find... let's see how that goes. Where'd my other one go? You find 15 pieces of gold on one of the corpses as well. Rowena.
Is looking back at the vials, is anyone among us able to, a chemist, or able to identify if it's poison or if it's medicine?
I could try taking.
I guess there was a medicine check, right? But I don't know if that would be how we.
You could try a medicine check and see. This doesn't. You're not sure exactly what it is. Is anyone proficient in like alchemist equipment or anything like that? What are your tool proficiencies? I have to look.
Proficiency in poisoners kit.
Then you may be able to discern it. If you want to roll a Arcana check, Rowena.
Ten, she said.
You're not really certain what it does. You're pretty confident it's not poisonous.
I'm proficient in brewer's tools.
I'll give it to you. You combine that with cleric stuff. You distill things. It's fine. Go ahead and roll a Arcana check as well for me.
Would a medicine check work or no? Oh man, I got a 3.
You don't know. Yeah, you're not sure what it does. You don't even know at all if it'd be poisonous or not. But Rowena can tell that this is not. This is not a poison of some type.
Well, shoot, I wonder if this could be the antidote. Feels like it'd be nice to be able to take it back to our friend at the temple, but I don't want to give them something. Even though it's not poison, I don't want to just give them some random chemical, though.
Well, if she dies, she's already in pain. Like, I mean, I think she'd probably appreciate just being like a test patient.
I mean, we're looking for a cure. You know, I feel like we could be days away from a full cure. Why risk it with an unknown potion?
I'll give you this because I forgot to mention it in the like epic fuck you exit of Valdrew. Valdrew slammed one of these vials down before he went under the water.
Like he threw it down?
No, he like chugged it.
Oh, he chugged it.
Clayton, think of you at ASU.
Oh, and then he went into the water.
Think of the time you went into Tempe Town Lake. Yeah.
But weren't there shards of glass around the jetty?
There were. I voted to investigate further, but he did see like glass reflecting inside of the rowboat.
Glass reflecting. Interesting. So there could be more vials, perhaps.
So I guess this is a
Perhaps
good. This counts towards the suspicion that this is yeah. Wait, what were you gonna say, Thad?
Oh, I was just gonna say.
What should we do?
We should.
Thad,
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm on a big delay.
No, I think it's either me or Ivo that's causing the delay. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. I was just gonna say maybe we should investigate the shards of glass or the glint of glass that we saw further. Because if it's like a potion that helps you breathe underwater, if there's more of it, that would be helpful. Thad's gonna look in the boat as well.
So anyone who's looking in the boat, roll a quick investigation check.
I'm on it.
Must it be quick? I got a 7.
Yes, apparently so.
Natural 20.
Nice. You do find actually in there more of these. You actually find 3 of them, and around all of them are the same message for emergencies only. So total, you have 5 now.
You just keep stocking them.
It's a good number.
So, Thad, you think these might be for breathing underwater? Is that what you said?
Perhaps. I've in all my travels never seen a red dragonborn be so ready to hop into a lake. Doesn't seem like his fire breathing would really prepare him for that kind of a journey. But I don't know. I've seen stranger magics in my day.
That's true. But for emergencies only makes me feel like it's like if you get exposed to the bad water because you have to go into the lake, this will cure you or keep you from getting the disease.
But then why would the butcher have chugged one?
Oh, I can't hear Clayton.
Because he's about to go into the water and get infected by the water.
Yeah, the water might be infected.
You hear me?
Yeah. There's just a bit of a delay on you, Clayton.
I think it's interesting that what we're thinking is the antidote looks kind of brackish.
Let me
disconnect.
You can... I would say you could probably pretty safely assume that the whole of the lake is not poisoned. Otherwise, that would be Well, I mean, I would say, like, I don't know if Valdry would go into it because of that. Certainly something to try, but I would say with what you've discerned so far, it's probably pretty safe that the lake is not entirely poisoned.
Is there anything? Can I go check out the wreckage of the hut to see if there's anything salvageable?
Yeah, you look around it. Most things are really pretty taken out. The explosive, or however it exploded, seemed to really be centered on the casks that exploded, which certainly concerns you a bit, not knowing if it can spread or not at this point. But roll a quick investigation check for me.
A 12.
Hard to really make out a ton of things. There are some pieces of paper that are kind of scattered around that you can't really make out. What languages do you understand?
All of us?
Dwarven. Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, and Infernal.
You... Would it be Infernal? I'm trying to decide which one they would have used. Yeah, you don't recognize some of the writing, and there's only snippets of it, so it's even harder to make out.
Rats.
Rowena would like to take a look.
Sure. Rowena, I think, because Rowena can speak Draconic. And again, it's just a little bit of snippets, but you can kind of ascertain a couple of sentences from this page that's mostly charred. And it kind of, a couple of things stand out on it. So one, you get must keep secure, destroy, compromised. I'm trying to figure out how much of this I should give you that would make enough sense. Temple, lake, emergency.
Temple Lake Security.
Emergency.
Emergency.
So if this is the antidote, it makes sense because Jackson wanted to keep it under wraps till later in the game.
Either way, if we have it, I think we should try on a patient that's about to die. So we should go back.
Yeah, I'm with. I think I'm with Zunis on that one. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, if someone has nothing to lose, and we can potentially save them.
Okay. It's pretty late in the day at this point. Now it's like 9 o'clock. Do you guys want to stay here for a bit, or do you want to go right back? You can get back to the temple before like the next day, but it's just late in the day.
Yeah, we're probably not that safe hanging out here overnight, right?
Yeah, probably not, especially with the explosion.
It would definitely get attention.
Well,
Yeah.
we should find some place. We definitely all have some wounds to tend. So I feel like we might be best to try to find a place to hunker down for the night, and we could always visit our friend in the morning with
we
the
should
antidote.
unblind Firo if possible too.
Say that again.
We should give Firo the sense of sight once more.
How do you want to do that?
Is there some kind of check that I can do?
It's just a
Strength
t-shirt.
check to remove.
May I just attempt to remove it using my hands?
You can like pull on it. You can't untie it. Whatever this spell is, it will not untie.
I wonder if I have a spell that can fight it.
Ivo, can you try gently with Shatter Spike?
I think we should maybe just try and take it off. Thad's just gonna try and pull it off.
He kind of moves with it. It's not coming off.
God damn.
Can Yeah, I feel like I have to figure something out since I got him into this mess.
Ivo, just roll a d20. Tell me if you get odd or even.
Ooh. I got an even.
So Ivo's, not dumb, but he's not the smartest dude. He's just like, I'm going to cut this fucking thing off. So he takes Rowena's suggestion and takes Shatter Spike and kind of like slowly works it in between the t-shirt and Firo's face, and he's like, don't move. And he just... And it does cut off.
Yeah. Nice.
And then
All
I go,
right,
"You're welcome."
now I can sleep easy. Nicely done.
Well done. We almost killed Firo, but at least he's not blind.
Alright, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right, so we'll...
So where we... I was gonna say we need to find some spot to take a little bit of a rest because we all are very much hurt.
The temple isn't very far away. Temple of the Saviors is still only about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away, an hour, if you walk slow. So you can get there and rest there. There's also other buildings that you can kind of see in the distance, some bigger than others, so you might be able to find an inn. But it's not like a countryside where you can just camp. Like it's a small town.
Yeah.
So
What do you guys think? Should we try to find an inn, or should we just go to the temple? I mean, we already look a little battered up. We're not going to be too out of place. Hopefully Janet isn't on duty anymore. We could just sneak up to the 34th room. I feel like that might be the way to go. I mean, if anything, we could just try to grab some medicine as well.
The only issue with going to an inn is we might run into an ally of the foes we just encountered.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more lordless in the area if they have different places to protect. So yeah, let's head back to the temple.
So you guys head back to the temple, and you tell me it's a little late for the folks over in NYC. So do we want to maybe pause here? It's not a bad place to stop.
I think this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a high note.
Yeah. So we'll end there as you guys make your way back to the temple, and we'll pick up when you guys arrive.
Should we give ourselves healing points for?
Not yet. Not until I know we've officially taken our long rest.
Cool.
One quick thing, just as we're ending too, and we'll pick up from where we left off last time. Remember, you guys can take short rests too if you don't want to actually go sleep. If you just want to stay down for a half hour to an hour, you can roll what are called hit dice and just get some health points back. You won't recover all of your abilities. But it's an option if you want to keep moving and not find a place to sleep. So just something to remember for next time.
Good stuff.
Cool.
But that's the Jimmy Jam tonight, guys. Good job.